Yo, what's up, my good folks? How y'all doing? It's a beautiful Thursday here in the South. Been kind of a warm day. We've had some news drop. We had some things in the community that's been going on. So let's just talk about it for a little bit, shall we? And I first want to just talk about this Stream Deck or Steam Deck, not Stream Deck, the Steam Deck. I was looking at it and I was like, okay. And I'm not really a handheld person. Never really been a handheld person. But let me switch over just for a second to my display capture. And why? Oh, that's what it is. I'm up there looking at the wrong thing. Anyway, let's go to my display capture. And overall, I looked at it and I was like, bro, this is a damn. This is giving me Sega Game Gear vibes, like hard body Sega Game Gear vibes, and I'm all right with that. I had a good experience with the Game Gear. 8 batteries like a motherfucker, but I'm okay with it. Just the way it's designed, I kind of see what they're doing in a sense. All those back buttons, you can pretty much make those face buttons your back buttons. So I know a lot of people like it looks awkward to hold, but considering how they have it placed, because those touch pads are kind of like the haptic track pads that the Steam controller had, you can basically use those, rest your thumbs naturally right there, have your middle finger and your finger right next to your middle finger on those back buttons, and your, of course, trigger fingers on R1, R2, and all that. And it looked like it'll sit naturally in your hand. To me, I know some people are looking at it pretty odd. Mic a little bit low. Okay, hold on. I can adjust it. I was gonna say, goddamn, what is it? My wavelength keeps on freaking defaulting down. What game? Put it at 50. How's it sound now? Cause should be a little bit clearer now. Plus, I turned the music down a little bit more so you can. But yeah, I like the design of it. It looks cool. It does remind me of a Switch, um, a little bit. Just you can't, detach the sides off of it like you can on the Switch, which I never really particularly like that. But I got it. When you sit in the dock, bam, you can do that. Pretty much, this is just a handheld PC. Yo, my boy Tekken God Jets, what is up? Welcome, Logical Nonsense. Welcome back, my brother. You was the first in this piece. Honestly, I like the design. I've got a feeling it's gonna have a lot of haptic features. It's USB-C. You're literally gonna have access to every single thing PC related that you can access. So that means you're going to be able to access Origin, GOG, Epic, Xbox games, because what you can do if you don't want to use the Steam OS, you can actually just install Windows on the damn thing, like just literally install Windows on the damn thing. So for me, and this is what I'm looking at. Okay, so you got your two trackpads, you got your left and your right speaker. Your hands shouldn't cover those speakers again, because where your thumbs are gonna rest, your hands are kind of gonna sit off anyway. So you shouldn't cover the speakers. I think they designed a lot of it for if you're not playing anything intensive, you can use the thumbsticks and a D-pad. Like if you're playing like RTS or something, you can use thumbstick, D-pads, face buttons, and just play like that. But if you're playing something that's a little bit more intense, you switch to the back buttons with the trackpads, because you're not going to reach those thumbsticks in a natural position, but you can reach those trackpads. So it's pretty much you have two analogs and two trackpads, and that's just replacing your analog placements. Um, so I wouldn't go too crazy. Of course, the L1, R2, and the R4, R5, L5, L4. Those will be your programmable buttons. Like I said, those will be your back programmable button. You can make them any other, but which I think the natural thing is going to be R4, R5, L5, L4 is going to be your ABXY buttons. What up, Cyber Dragon? What up, Buck Rogers? Welcome to the show. Foxing around. Welcome, my brother. 7-inch screen, two mics. Okay, two mics. I, I it's gonna make for some extreme clarity since it has two mics. So that's gonna be interesting. Type C port has a built-in fan, of course, so it ejects heat from the top, which that'll be good. It's an AMD APU. Figured that much. I ain't worried about the goddamn T flops. Don't even give a fuck about that. It's RDNA 2 chipset. So it should take advantage of everything that RDNA 2 up to a certain point can do. And we'll see. It's 4-core, 8-thread. Okay, so the CPU, you got a 4-core, you got a multi-core CPU, so that's good. Then you got a. I don't really mess with AMD like that, but considering it's a mobile processor, this would be good for the resolution that it's shooting for. This would be cool. 16 gigs of LP DDR5, so low power DDR5 RAM. Let's see. The base model comes with that 64 gigabytes of eMMC storage. So PCIe Gen 2 times 1. Okay, so that's, what is that, like 200 feet? Not 256, like 100 something gigabyte transfer rate. Okay, so it's not super fast, but I mean, for a base model, it's like all you're doing is just playing light games. Cool, whatever. It's 16 gigabytes, so that's pretty much a PC standard. And considering RAM costs right now, yeah, that's I'm okay with that. 200, and honestly, the 256 might be that good little middle ground. For somebody that just wants to get something that has a little bit more storage, but not the highest storage possible. But I know me, I would personally go with the 512 if I was really gonna get one. Just because if I wanted to do the custom OS or if I wanted to install Windows takes up probably 60 gigs. Because I have a 512. What do I have? A 5? Yeah, I got a 512 NVMe SSD on my PC right now, and it takes up like 60 or 70 gigs for the OS. Because, and of course, that's taking account of reserve space. So, altogether, you're looking at maybe right above or right at like 400 gigabytes left after all is said and done. Yeah. So 400 gigabytes after all said and done, after getting the OS installed. Cool with that. You got your gamepad controls. Plus, if you get the dock, you can hook up actual controllers to the thing if you're doing it in dock mode. Send it to your TV, your whatever display you're using. Um, let's see, thumbsticks, 2 full-size analog sticks with capacitive touch. Oh, they're That's interesting. So instead of clicking, you can just lightly tap to do your L3, R3. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could just run Linux, but again, if I wanted to have that full suite of, I can run Xbox games, Steam games, GOG, that type of stuff, then I would just, install Windows. I understand what you're saying, just run Linux because Microsoft runs way too goddamn heavy on their installs. I get it. But if I wanted to access their games on it, that would be just the way to go. And I don't want to, have dual boots because then I have to do all that craziness. Of course, haptics. Trackpads, 2 by 32.5 millimeter square trackpads with haptic feedback, 55% better latency compared to the Steam controller. Oh, okay, 55. And the Steam controller was, oh, for anybody that used the Steam controller, it was cool. It wasn't the best, but I could say the trackpads work pretty well. So if it's 55% less latent than that, then okay, cool. Pressure sensitivity. So again, L3, R3 usage. Has a 6-axis gyro, which if people didn't know, you actually can use the gyro on your DualShock 4 or your PS3 controller on Steam, and it picks it up. Let's see, resolution 1280 by 800. Okay, kind of figured. I didn't like. I was hoping for like at least. I was hoping too damn much for a 1080p screen. Being honest, it's optically bonded LCD, 7-inch diagonal, so same dimensions as what you're getting with the new Switch model. 400 nits, 60 hertz, which I was kind of bummed to hear that, but again, it's a handheld, so I have to think in handheld terms because I would have loved it been 120. My goddamn phone screen is 120, so it's kind of hard for me to look at anything handheld that doesn't have 120 hertz. It's weird. Touch enabled, of course. Bluetooth 5.0, so it controllers, accessory audio. Dual Wi-Fi, so you can do 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, 2x2 memo. So you're pretty much set when it comes to Wi-Fi. You're good. Hold on. Let's see. So you got stereo embedded with DSP for immersive listening experience. Dual microphone array, 3.5 millimeter headphone headset jack. Multi-channel audio via display port over USB-C, standard USB-C, or Bluetooth 5.0. Damn, could you imagine playing a game on a handheld but having that shit going through your Bluetooth audio setup in the house, bro? That's fucking stupid. It's just, it makes me chuckle when I think about it. Has a 45-watt USB Type C power supply, 40 watt hour battery, so 2 to 8 hours of gameplay, which considering, because I had an Alienware laptop from like, what, 2000, what was that, 2013 or something like that. Depending on the game, and I mean really depending on the game, my battery would last about maybe 3 to 4 hours. Bring back the PSP. Hey, I'm saying bring back the PSP or the Vita. I don't care. Bring one of them back. So I mean, this is pretty much, and this is why I say when they say gameplay, they're basing it off of your the handheld running at full, full tilt playing the game, depending on the game. Now, if it's a little indie, you'll probably get that 8 hours. If one of those, a AAA game, then you're probably looking at that 2 hours, being real honest. So let's go on down. Expansion, you have a micro SD. So pretty much biggest micro SD if you can possibly get it. Go on up. External connectivity for controllers and display, of course, USB-C with DisplayPort 1.4 alt mode support, up to 8K at 60 Hz or 4K at 120, USB 3.2 Gen 2, which again, somebody gonna be touting this, be like, yeah, I could put this bitch in dark mode and play my indie at 8K 60 Hertz. Yeah. Again, the storage itself, the storage issue itself is boo boo, but considering it's a handheld, and I mean really considering it's a handheld, and with the NVMe option, I'm like, yeah, because they have a quick resume option on this handheld to where it can pretty much, it has a sleep mode where it can power on and off real quick. So that's cool. The dock, which you're selling separately, which is kind of like, damn, this is a misstep for me personally. This is a misstep. This could have been one of those things where they could have included it in the package, especially that $600 package. This could have been included in there. And of course, it comes. You haven't lived till you play Pac-Man in 8K, bruh. Hey, I'm saying if somebody got an 8K display and this might be the thing for them. I'm just saying. But it connects via USB Type C. Course, that USB-C is going to be what's transferring all, like the dock itself. Since the USB-C port is on the top, you have to run the USB-C cable to the dock, because not like the Switch where you just drop it in and connect straight to the dock. It actually needs to connect itself via cable to the dock. DisplayPort 1.4, HDMI 2.0, so that'll be cool. USB 3.1 and 2.0 ports, and an Ethernet port and a power in. So pretty much it's going to charge your system while also transmitting the data for the video signal at the same time. So again, I wish they would have included this, especially with the higher tier version. Like once you get the NVMe versions of the handheld, I wish they would have included the dock. So again, it's just going over what the dock has, what kind of power it's going to require. Desk connection has a low profile 90-degree connector. Okay, cool. Size and weight 120 grams. So really not that big. And again, let's just go and see what. So again, starting off, $399 model base entry model, 64 gigs, includes a carrying case. Okay, cool. Reserve now for $5. They got $5 reserves? What the world? The 529 256 gig NVMe SSD model comes with faster storage, carrying case, and exclusive Steam community profile bundle. Okay. Logical, stop. Stop, bro. Stop. Oh god. And then the highest tier version, $649 for the 512 NVMe SSD. The fastest storage, premium anti-glare etched glass. It's pretty. I can say for a handheld, yeah, it's pretty much a damn Series S in a portable form. Yeah, I remember hearing that too. Of course, and you get the Steam Community Profile Bundle and exclusive virtual keyboard thing. And I know Bar was making fun of that, but that's just yo, Jemai, what is up, brother? Jemai, you getting a portable PC, brother? You getting that portable PC? I need to know you getting that portable PC or not. So reservations will open Friday, July 16th at 10 a.m. And effective storage capacity is subject to change based on the operating system and formatting technologies. All models include a micro SD slot for additional storage capacity. So he created his pants. So we're do. I could see Jemai doing that just because it's Jemai, you know. So here goes the reservations, and they made sure to kind of make sure people couldn't really scout these. So why is there a reservation fee? The main reason for reservations is to ensure an orderly and fair ordering process for customers. When Steam Deck inventory becomes available, the additional fee gives us a clear signal of intent to purchase, which gives us a better data to balance supply chain, inventory, and regional distribution leading up to launch. Why is my account not able to place a reservation until Sunday? We are aware of potential unauthorized resellers. As an additional safeguard to ensure fair ordering process, we added a requirement that the reserve has made a purchase on Steam prior to June 2021 for the first 48 hours of reservation availability. I mean, and Jamal, I'm the same way as you because I'm not the type of person to take any handheld with me. Like when I had to switch, that motherfucker never left the house. I know people that I would go to my different job sites, they'd be in the break room when they switch. I'm like, bro, this shit's never gonna leave the house. And for me, it's more so like if I want to chill in the living room, I could go chill in the living room, get out of my office if I wanted to. Okay, so how does the reservation system work? When you submit a reservation, you will be put in a queue. Once inventory is available, you will be emailed in the order the reservations were made. So they're taking a little uh PlayStation Direct approach in a sense. When will I be able to order? We are aiming to start sending order invitations by December 21st. We will make every effort to convert all reservations to orders, but we are not able to guarantee availability. Can I cancel my reservation? Yes, you can cancel your reservation on this page. If you cancel within 30 days, you will be refunded to whatever payment method you used. If you cancel after 30 days, your reservation fee will be refunded to your Steam wallet. You never, bruh. I have seen so many people with switches out in the wild. It's like, bruh, that no, I'm not that bold. So there, and I honestly, I think this is the best system for, as far as reservation, is to actually be a legit customer of Steam or user of Steam. Again, Jamal, I don't know who it's for either, but it has the potential. It really does, but we'll have to see. Regions pretty much United States, Canada, European Union, United Kingdom can reserve Steam Deck. Of course, they haven't thought about expanded regions yet. You can only reserve one Steam Deck per customer. Let's see what happens to your reservation fee. If I do not order my Steam Deck in time, your reservation fee will be refunded in full. If you're refunded, of course, 30 days, blah, 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 blah. Are there any restrictions on users that can reserve the Steam Deck? Again, gotta be in a valid country. You have to have your Steam profile before June 2021, or else you're gonna be under that 48-hour reservation uh, buffer. Do you need a Steam account to use Steam Deck? The default Steam Deck experience requires a Steam account, but if you want to use it as a PC, you can install third-party software and operating systems. So if you just want to go through there, completely wipe that damn thing, take all Steam OS off, and just install Windows or whatever custom thing you want to, cool. And since you can't, this is pretty much a PC. I can see multi-purpose use for it. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna play a game on my downtime, but I gotta finish a paper or whatever. You can write a paper. Hell, I wrote a damn paper on a PSP. Like, I shit you not, I had Windows. What was that? Was it Windows? Wasn't Windows 8? Was it Windows 7? I think it was Windows 7 on my PSP. It was like the lightest version of Windows that you could run. It had PowerPoint, Word, Excel. Like, I could legit do my homework on this damn thing. And I legit wrote a 5-page paper on my PSP. It was stupid as shit, but it was just like one of those things. Like, my teacher was like, "What the hell you doing?" I was like, "I'm writing my paper." And that's the thing, Jemiah, you really don't have to per se hack it because it's just a PC. Like, you could just strip the Steam OS off of it, put Windows, Ubuntu, Linux, whatever you want to on it, and there you go. It's legit PC. It's just handheld. And so they're pretty much saying if you not able to reserve it and you like to purchase Steam Deck in the future, you can add it to your wish list and they'll let you know when it's available for general purpose. Is the reservation queue regional? Yes, the queue is expected. Order availability times are specific to each region. Can I change which Steam Deck I purchase once I'm able to order? And here's the thing. Yeah, and just use crack games. That's what I'm saying. It's a legit PC, and you can just, the PC pirate's gonna be like, hey, I got this $649, model. I'm just pirate games, man. Sail to high seas mobily. And of course, whichever one you put the $5 down on, that's the one you have to order. You cannot change it midway. So when they open up tomorrow, make sure you pick the one that you want. When you be charged for the Steam Deck, once you reserve your Steam Deck is available and you complete your purchase, you will be charged. Does this reservation fee count toward my Steam Deck purchase price? Yes. So, yes, you're putting down this $5 fee, but of course, that's knocking the $5 off the price, which that it sounds pretty much like any model. You put a down payment on it. Yo, Plus on Black, what's good, my brother? Welcome to the show. So pretty much that's everything about the Steam Deck right now. Me personally, will I get one? It's tempting. It's really, really tempting. And not because I need it, but it's just interesting. You know, like when the Steam controller came out, it was interesting. And I bought it. And I still got it right now. And the fact that you could kind of tune it and change different things about it, make it your type of game, it was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Or make it like I had mine. Whenever you turn it on, it had the Super Mario Brothers theme whenever it turned on, and whenever I turned it off, it would be like Mario dying when he hit like a Goomba or whatever. He just died from something. It would be like ding 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 ding. It would just that would be this power off sound. So I was like, okay, it's a nice little touch. I liked it when I could play my RTS games with it. It was cool. I could sit back on the couch with a controller, play my RTS games, whatever, right? So that's really the Steam Deck in a nutshell. What do y'all think about it? It as Barry called it, it's a cool L, and I can see why you would call it cool L. It's definitely an L on the fact that you got to buy the dock separately. Okay, and here's my thinking on this book as far as the back buttons. Since those back buttons are pretty much going to be your AXYB buttons anyway, think about where your fingers will naturally lie, because your thumbs are going to be right on those touchpads. So those analogs pretty much go down to where those trackpads are. Your other fingers are going to naturally curve around and grip it. So you're going to have this. So you're almost going to be semi kind of gripping it with the palm of your hands. And while you're also gripping it with the buttons. So it can work. Why does it have a dock? Because you can hook it up to an external display, Jemiah. I think you missed when I talked about it earlier, but it has. Let me go back to it. It can output 8K 60 hertz or 4K 120 whenever you dock it. So, if you want to be that person like, ooh, I can run my indies at 8K 60 or 4K 120. There you go. That's why it has a dock. It that's why you have. Well, I know that's why you have a PC, but I'm just saying, it's a multi-purpose thing. It's like, yeah, and I can see a lot of people just kind of using this as kind of like a light, semi. Yeah, this is gaming, but I can also use it for light productivity. Like if I need to write a paper up or something real quick. That way you don't have to go to like your main PC and you're in the living room and it's just like bam, bam, done. Again, I personally like it, but it's one of those things like, do I really need it? No. Would I like to have one? Sure. But it's not really, needed, but it's definitely one of those like, damn, that'd be nice. Just to be on some stupid, oh, I'm balling type shit for no damn reason. not not the not the claw, not the claws, bro. Not the claws, not the claws, not the claws. Let me see who. Let me respond to this. Okay, so Jemiah, since you are a, does it come with a controller? And what's the input when it's docked? Okay, as far as the controller, you can use any controller that you can use on your PC when it's docked. Because again, it's Steam picks up any DualShock 4 or Xbox controller. You can still do the same thing when it's docked. So I mean, if you well, let me respond to this because I gotta ask you. Actually, I'm gonna ask you. See if you're because this guy said some real like legit. I want to laugh at him, and I mean really hard laugh at him. But I'm gonna say, Jamal, come through in six Discord real quick if you got time. We'll discuss it. Uh, but so here's the thing. Like this was a thing that I just like I don't know the guy, but when he said something, it kind of stuck out to me, and I was like, he was up there talking about how they did some update, and it was just like the guy was like, "Who the hell plays HDR on COD?" And it was like not even competitive COD, and they were like, and people were like, "You obviously don't play competitive because nobody really cares about." Yeah, this is the second episode. The last episode was when I got blocked by Aerial Knight, so I did just an impromptu episode. So I'm just pretty much starting over. This is episode 2 of the podcast. But this guy was like, he's pretty much saying PC players turn everything down to potato settings. The battery life, Fabian, is during game. They specifically said during gameplay. I'll go back to it real quick. Let me see. Battery. Okay. So during gameplay, since it's a 40 watt hour battery, you're looking at 2 to 8 hours. So I'm comparing this to like laptops too, when they say 2 to 8 hours, because I've noticed um, for a fact that laptops, if you don't have them on the charger, they will burn through a goddamn battery quick. Especially like if you're playing anything really, really heavy, you're looking at maybe 3 hours max. What up, Persona? How you doing, my brother? Ah, shit, you going to work? Damn. Alright, but I'm like, okay, 2 to 8 hours. If you playing anything kind of meaty, you're looking more along that 2 hour mark. If you're playing something like a real light indie, you're probably gonna hit that 7 8 hour mark. If you're just generally browsing or doing some normal non gaming shit, who knows what you can get, right? But actual gameplay, you're looking at 2 to 8 hours. They haven't specified just general use, browsing, doing all that. How long you would actually last on there. So it's interesting specs. So a lot of missteps. The dual microphone array should increase a lot of clarity because you'll have, you can install Discord on the damn thing if you decide to put a custom OS on there. Install Discord. You can run a whole goddamn podcast off the thing if you're really thinking about it. You could probably run a whole podcast off of it. That night shift life. Hey, I understand. But anyway, back to this. So the guy is pretty much people were saying, hey, people that play COD competitive ain't worried about HDR or anything like that, really. So he was like, you're talking about where PC players would turn down everything to potato settings to get 240 FPS. That shit's just plain pathetic. You're literally downgrading your experience to try to beat other players. How about just getting better? It's almost as bad as having to cheat. So like, bruh, did you just compare turning down settings to cheating? Of course, I'll at this point I'm like, bruh, the fact that you even said that, of course, I would never personally turn down settings because I won't turn down settings to where shit looks potato. I will adjust settings to where it looks great, but I'm still getting a high frame rate. Cause COD, I'm getting 120. I'm doing what my TV gives me. My TV is 120. I'm getting 120. Right. So I was like, bro, and I'm laughing. I'm joking. This guy is like being that super serial. Oh no, but it's almost as pathetic. Though, which is what I actually said. I'm like, okay, but saying almost is still comparative. You're putting it in the ballpark. You putting it in the ballpark is bad enough. You know, you're saying somebody just playing the game but turn down their settings so they can get more frame rate is almost as bad as somebody cheating. Like, bro, how did you even do this, bro? Who hurt your feelings on PC, bro? Like, really? Who hurt your feelings? Cause that's some goofball shit if I ever heard it. Like, oh, they just need to get better. I mean, if a motherfucker turn down settings and he's getting more response out of it, hey, cool. And he's up there like, oh, I can't comprehend and all this stuff. But what is there not to comprehend? You're literally ballparking, comparing motherfuckers turning down settings to somebody cheating. So he want to go on a little mean spree and yeah. And as of right now, I'm just on my little nonsense. I don't care about the conversation at that point. After that point, cause it's just like, bro, you just being that guy for no damn reason. So anyway, um, we talked about the Steam Deck, which again, it has some good points. It has some bad points. Still kind of salty about that whole having to buy the dock separately thing. Uh, but this next issue, this one kind of, because I've been thinking about this for a while, and this is going into the whole game difficulty dilemma mixed in with are plats even worth it anymore? It's kind of like a two. They'll fold into each other, a little bit, and I think what it is, there's an extreme disconnect between the community that started out, and I'm not part of that generation that was with the ColecoVision and Atari. That was like my mom's generation. But when I started gaming, she let me experience those consoles along with the NES, the Super NES, Sega Genesis, the Master System, Sega CD, stuff like that. So I have a good knowledge base of what was then and what is now. And that's including before the arcades really kind of faded away. I got on like that tail end of the arcade experience of going in and trying to get that high score. So I think there's a real disconnect when people say, "Oh, y'all need to stop gatekeeping. Like, if a person plays on easy, they can play. They should be able to play on easy and not be criticized." And I'm saying this: I don't care if you play on easy. Play on easy to your heart's content. Because at the end of the day, it's your experience. But knowing how this gaming community is now, especially after they talked about Psychonauts 2 having this invincibility toggle, it's like we're getting games that are progressively getting easier by definition, and yet you still have to keep making it even easier. And when I say the accessibility options, if this is what let me make this 100% clear. If you have a legit disability, whether it's vision, hearing, like my wife, she has cerebral palsy, so she can't use the function in her right hand like a normal person can. Stuff like that is meant for people that actually have legit disabilities. And I'm cool with that because gaming is for everybody. I want everybody to be able to game. But I feel like people that are able to play these games and able to play these games normally will abuse this, ask for it in more games, and then games are pretty much just going to become you could have watched this on YouTube and got the same damn experience. It is, and here's the thing, plus I'm black, it's a combination of both. It's like the games are legit getting easier. Because I always bring up this example. I'm like, go back and think about when Lion King, Jungle Book, and Aladdin came out. Those games didn't have a difficulty setting, they were just naturally tough games, right? Like, people used to have nightmares about them damn games. But that trained us to get better. Like, this is why I'm so adamant about them not casualizing a lot of things. Because Call of Duty, you could definitely tell the shift in Call of Duty because Call of Duty went from being a game that required a lot of skill, which high level Call of Duty still requires skill, but there is a lot of goddamn hand holding. Like GT Sport is probably the most, I could say, almost casual friendly GT that you can get into. And I'm like, okay, this is as far as what I want to. This is as far as I want y'all to go with assist, because they pretty much have auto throttle, auto braking, all the other assist, driving line, and all that good stuff. Like that. That's as far as I want you to go. This is where you need to stop. Don't go in. Don't add no damn fucking rewinds. None of that. Because once you do that, you literally just made GT less than what it was. And the reason I say that is because I think as a gamer, you should always push yourself to become better. Even if you ain't top tier MLG esports level, you should be able to advance. Like, I can't say I would enjoy playing Psychonauts and I couldn't die. Where's the challenge? Like, if I didn't want a challenge, I would play a Telltale game. That's how I honestly feel. Like, if I did not want a challenge, I'll play a Telltale game. And just like I'm thinking back to when this chick brought up that she wanted to play Kingdom Hearts for the story, so she put it on easy so she could enjoy the story, right? And I'm like, you know what? If she just wants to enjoy the story, and she's streaming it and she wants to actually pay attention to the story, which honestly, you playing it on easy only affects the combat, not so much you taking in the story. But you know, different things for different people, right? It just feels so weird when people are just like not taking into the fact that maybe the people that grew up in the era before 3D, the ones that were in the trenches, bringing gaming up, pulling it up out of the goddamn gutter, where it was niche, it was the nerd thing. Like, we grew up knowing what it meant to go achieve that high score, to go beat this game on the hardest difficulty, to go do all this amazing stuff because we wore that as a badge of honor, right? Like, I legit remember going to the arcade and we would go back and forth like, oh, I got the high score on such and such. Oh, all right. This weekend I'm gonna go beat that high score, right? And that's what the thing was. It was a badge of honor for us. So for me, it's like, and I felt this way when I played Ghost. Like when I went back and platinum Ghost of Tsushima, I went through that whole game on the highest difficulty that they had for the default game before they added the lethal difficulty, right? But at the same time, somebody could have played that same game on easy and got the same reward as me. So for me, it feels like a hollow victory. For them, it was like, yay, I got a platinum out of it. Because I did everything and it was, it was fun, it was easy. It was like for me, I'm sitting up here trying to be technical, trying to get the best experience out the game possible. Because that's like playing Doom on easy. You don't really experience Doom playing it on easy. Doom is all about fast, frantic gameplay. You don't get that feeling playing Doom on easy. Hell, you don't even get that feeling playing Doom on normal. I mean, you can experience a little bit of it, but you don't get that full, frenetic, life or death situation that you would actually feel if you played it like on hard or the hardest difficulty. Like, it's motherfuckers that play Doom on Nightmare for fun. Just because it's an adrenaline pumping situation. Just like when I play Call of Duty, I play Call of Duty on realistic in the campaign. Just because I knew if I played it on normal, I would just go through the game real quick. I want to actually be challenged. And I'm not saying everybody likes the same level of challenge. It challenge ain't for everybody. But I don't feel like, and shout out to Jose for saying this because I didn't know he had a brain injury, so shout out to him for still gaming, still doing what he's doing, still holding it down. But he even said, I have this brain injury going on, but I don't feel like I should get a platinum. And all I did was, I played through the game, but because I had to play through it on this difficulty because of what's going on, I shouldn't get the platinum with somebody that played the game on the hardest difficulty. That's why I have to look at games like The Last of Us 2, that, yeah, they gave all these accessibility options, which is great because everybody should be able to experience this game. But you also have to look at a lot of these platinums real sideways because now it's becoming, okay, what did an able-bodied person tick on to help them achieve this platinum? Right? Because I'm not expecting a person with at because me and my wife don't call them disabilities, we call them um handy capabilities, right? Like you're still capable of doing them. It's just you might have something may hinder you, but you are still capable. And I'm seeing people like going through turning on like when you crouch in the grass, all the alert status goes off. All right, take it easy, Jemiah. Or if you go prone, like the AI just doesn't see you anymore. Like you have to literally ask yourself, how many of those platinums were legit, went through the game, beat the game as it was supposed to be, and how many of them were accessibility option platinums. And again, if you have a handy capability and you use them, okay, that's cool. But for me, it's a lot of things that I think have to be addressed, and not from no one-sided point of view, but from a multi point of view. Because me growing up versus this new generation of gamers, I don't connect. I'm my their neurons and my neurons ain't connecting right now. My logic and their logic ain't connecting right now. Their mindset and my mindset ain't connecting right now. Um, in a little bit, David, in a little bit. So again, if you want to play the game on easy, bro, go play the game on easy. I really don't give a fuck. You spend money on it. But just letting people run wild with the fact that, hey, I should be able to turn on the invincibility toggle and not be criticized for it. I'm sorry, but you as an able-bodied person, that would have got you roasted back in the day, bro. Like, damn, son, you couldn't even beat the game without using the damn immortality. Like, you that scrubby? You that bad at a game? You that unskilled? And how long you been gaming? You been gaming for 20 years and you still that damn unskilled? To not even get through a basic platformers? Cause I ain't gonna lie to you, Psychonauts ain't exactly the hardest game in the world, bruh. You tell me you struggling with Psychonauts? Like hell, I'll give you an example. My oldest daughter started playing Sonic when she was 4. She knows the mechanics of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic CD. So much so that when my wife came in here one day to play Sonic Mania, my child was telling her, okay, mommy, you need to jump here, you need to jump on his head. And she was fighting Dr. Reed like, okay, you gotta jump on his head. She knows how to fight Dr. Robotnik. Like, bro, those were games that I grew up on, but my daughter picked up on the concept of how to play the game. She didn't say the game was too hard. She played it for fun, and she progressively got better. Over time, she progressively kept getting better. Hold on a second. So again, for everybody that's sitting here, been gaming for 10, 15, 20 years, why do y'all need these easy or these options to help you through a game? Can you not just naturally play a game? And again, if you play it on easy, cool, you played it on easy. But is it not possible for you to just play the game and get good? Like, is getting good at something like a bad thing now? I thought getting good at something was an achievement. But then again, we're in a society now where everybody should be rewarded. Whether you win, whether you lose, it's like everybody should get a participation trophy. That's why when I look at, and let me flip over to turn my PlayStation back on. This is why whenever I look at whenever I look at some of my platinums now, I look at them and I kind of feel some type of way. Because I started noticing something. Ratchet and Clank. I went through that whole game on Renegade Legend, right? Not a single trophy for going through that game. Not a single trophy for going through that game on normal. Not a single trophy for even going through that game on Renegade Legend. Just says complete the game, right? So I feel some type of way when I, went through the struggle, went through whatever it was, and somebody else could just come right behind and put it on the easiest of easiest difficulties and get the same platinum. Spider-Man, as much as I enjoyed the game, which I gotta go through and actually do all the DLC, because as you can see, I hadn't done the DLC or New Game Plus. But same thing. Play the game. No difficulty trophies. Just do everything in the game. No difficulty required, and still get the same. And I'm not saying that, I'm not a platinum hunter. I never have been. Some plats do take time out of your day to do. And again, Miles Morales, same situation. Ghost, same situation. Only you actually do. You don't even get them actually adding lethal difficulty. You get nothing. Like, you can go through all the ghosts. Just play the game. Just play the game. Play it on easy. Do everything. Which, yeah, this one is one of those that takes time because you gotta go collect a lot of stuff, do all the side missions, stuff like that, right? So it's a time sink, but it's an easy time sink. So it kind of feels like, yeah, I got this platinum, but it's a hollow victory platinum. Yeah, I got this platinum. It's like I literally have 1, 2, 3, 4 gimmies. 4 gimmies out of my whole thing. And if I go through, it's some games I still gotta beat, so don't look at me funny, god damn it. Like Returnal is a time sink. It's a platinum that I'll probably go back later. But at least Returnal gave me a challenge, so if I did go get that platinum, I'll feel pretty much a little bit better, right? Nier Replicant, I actually gotta go play that because I think Returnal and Nier came out around the same time. That's why I stopped. But Ace Combat is a game that has a difficulty trophy. Where is it? Complete all missions in a campaign mode on all difficulties. This would not be one of those hollow victory plats. This will be a plat that I could go through and be like, yeah, I earned that shit because I had to play on all the difficulties. Not just easy, not just normal, but I had to play on ace, hard, all that. And all you have to do just to get that trophy is play it on ace. And ace is not one of those things that you can just go through. Republic Commando, same thing, even though mine fucking glitched, so now I have to slog through this game for another 15 hours. Because why? They give you a trophy for beating it on easy, normal. Yeah, let me go back. Where is it? 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 Yeah, they give you a cadet trophy for beating it on easy, give you a lieutenant trophy for beating it on medium, and a marshal commander for beating it on hard. My hard trophy glitch, because I guess whenever you went through the exact beginning, I didn't switch the hard option on because you actually have to physically go into the pause menu to switch the difficulty to hard. And I guess during the cutscene, it didn't register that first planet as me going through on hard, so I went through it on hard again and it still didn't register it. So I literally had to go through the whole game again for that one trophy if I want it. Which, again, I'm probably going to do, but me going through that game on hard the first time, it was legit a fucking struggle. I ain't even gonna lie to you, that game is something else. Marquette, you got a guy you can look up. Hell, let me see. I'm trying to think, does 2016 Ratchet and Clank have a difficulty trophy? I know it had one for doing the hoverboard, but does it have? Yeah, it doesn't even have a difficulty trophy. So again, a lot of games are starting to, and shout out to for anybody that's got the Final Fantasy plat. I started playing. You're going for a platinum. I've heard Slay the Spire was one of those games that'll make you rage like a motherfucker. So for anybody that got this plat for Final Fantasy, salute to y'all, because I started playing the hard mode on there, and Jesus Christ, that no item usage, yeah, that shit's hurting me. So that means because what I'm doing now, I'm going through it back on normal just to get everybody up to 50, and then I'm going through try to do the hard difficulty. Um, but honestly, man, again, I know I'm repeating myself multiple times. If you want to play the game on easy, I don't care. Go play the damn fucking game on easy. But some of y'all are lacking context when y'all say, "Oh, you shouldn't judge a person by what they play on," and da 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 da. And it's not so much we're judging a person by what they play on. If they want to play on easy, but it's like they're getting rewarded the same amount that we're getting rewarded, and that shit irks a person that's very competitive or grew up in a time where there were such things as bragging rights. Like, you had bragging rights when you got the high score at arcades. You had bragging rights when you could beat the AI on like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat on level 10. You had those bragging rights. Because that's what gaming is. My PSN is, I'll post it up. Let's go. Profile. Yeah. GTTC still. Oh, in fact, I forgot all about this one. My most recent one. My most recent platinum. Terminator. This is why I say it's some games you're meant to play a certain way. Terminator is one of those games that should have had difficulty trophies. And I say this only for one reason. When you play on normal or above on this game, the Terminator AI is very pursuit heavy. Like they spot you, they will hunt your ass down. And it's not like, oh, you can run away, hide behind the corner. No, they're coming. And if they don't spot you, they're going to patrol in a radius around you. And it's going to scare the shit out of you, especially when there's two of them. Because they're damn near early game when you first meet your first T-800. They're very, very fucking aggressive. Like, you are legit. You can't shoot them with, like, regular... Like, if you got a regular... ammo based weapon like M16 or Uzi, you can't do shit to him. You cannot do a fucking thing to him. And it's scary because you want to get away and you want to fight him, but you can't. So you literally got like a squad of fucking T-800s on your ass. And they're not running. They're just walking. They're like a brisk walk catching up to your ass. And it's like, if they got a good line of sight, they're shooting at you, and like one or two shots early game, you're dead. You are dead quick. And I went to go try this game on extreme, bruh. Bruh. That shit's, man, that shit was frustrating, but you know what? It's still an easy plat because you don't have to play it on those difficulties. You can literally put it on easy and just walk through the whole game. I put it on normal just because I wanted that good tension. The good normal is what I would call the good middle ground. You know, if it's just easy, normal, hard, good middle ground. The extreme on there was just pretty much our hard version with less ammo. So you still got that whole tracking that you would get on hard, like they would pursue you, but you just had less ammo to work with. But you know, after I beat the game, it was like I enjoyed the game, but at the same time, I think I would have felt more rewarded if they had a trophy where they said beat it on the hardest difficulty. It was like, and I overcame that. And it'll be like, yeah, I overcame that. I'm proud of that. I can display that happily and be like, yeah, I got this platinum. I overcame that shit, you know. So yeah, it's. But I think that's why I'm liking arcade again. And I hope whenever it does get its own trophy support that we have a situation where they actually reward you for getting like to the higher difficulties, because difficulty in that game is based on how hard you want to make the game and not you get the option to, you know, set it to this one difficulty, because it's going to progressively get, the deeper you go, the more the difficulty amps up, right? So for me, I think, yeah, and like I said, I'm not a plat hunter either, but I also feel like if they're gonna have certain plats, they should also have difficulty. Uh, hold on a second. I feel like They need to have difficulty trophies in every single game, right? Like if you're gonna have difficulty options in games, you need to have those. I think the highest I made in an arcade again was I think me and Sig made it to like 10. Yeah, me and Sig made it to 10. But of course, we made it to 10 because we forced it up to go to 10 that quick because the two randoms we were running with were just running through the stage while not trying to optimize their builds, to get through the levels. So we were like, you know what, we're just gonna troll them out of it because I'm tired of getting teleported because y'all just want to speed run the stuff. So yeah, it's like that's why I enjoy arcade again because it's one of those experiences I can see it's gonna separate people between these are the people that just casually play it, these are people that's gonna hardcore play it and actually want to achieve that high score. Yeah, and I can solo it to 8 myself, but it was just the fact that when we were in that quiet situation, we just had these me and Sig just had these two guys and we were like, look, I'd rather we just go and knock them completely out, force them to leave because they're ill equipped. So yeah. But anyway, this was just my thoughts. I wasn't gonna rant and rave over, you know, the whole difficulty thing. And I seen this tweet and that it stood out to me. And it was like difficulty is not objective, it is subjective. Difference between the current skill level and the challenge required to beat the game. Everyone starts with different odds, has different learning rates and mechanisms. Without options, there's no true equality. And I'm like, okay, for this message, I get it. Like, not everybody's gonna be on the same goddamn skill level. I expect that. Just like me, I'm not on the same skill level as, say, Igor Fraga, that's like the two-time GT Sport world champion. Can I get to his level? Yeah. I mean, I slowed down in my age because my reaction skills definitely went down. But I'm pretty sure if I trained hard enough and kept going, I could do what he's doing at a high level in GT. But for some people looking at me when I play GT, they look at me, yo, 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 Quanvo, thank you for the sub, my brother. I appreciate that, man. But for me personally, a lot of people look at me and be like, damn, you good at GT, bruh. And I'm like, and I look at myself and I'm like, no, I'm just okay. But to them, that's a skill set that they don't have. So when they see me driving, they're like, damn, that's clean. That's something you should be proud. And I am proud of it. But that took years and years and years and years of me playing GT to finally get to that level, right? And yes, again, that God mode in Psychonauts 2 is retarded. And the only reason I say it's retarded, like if they had it in there and it completely disabled you getting achievements and trophies, cool, let it be in there. But the moment they said it won't disable achievements or trophies, I was like, bruh, you're getting participation trophies now. That's what irked me so bad about it. You're giving participation trophies and said somebody put in minimal effort compared to somebody that put in maximum effort, and y'all get the same goddamn result. That really kind of bothered me, and that's why I brought up this whole subject about the platinums and stuff like that. And that's cool, Sam. Like you play GT games for you. Yo, Jamal, thank you for the sub, my brother. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So you play the games for yourself, and I get it because I was the same way. Like when what was that GT5 came out, you know, that's when the whole GT Academy started popping off, and they started doing like the actual competition. I'm like, bro, I'm just here to play GT for me. I just want to go through that career and build my garage and get my cars tuned right and just go through that. But when I played it, I didn't put it on easy because the payouts weren't good. I put it on hard because I actually wanted to learn. I wanted to get faster. I wanted to learn. I wanted to improve, right? And that comes with any game that you play. It's like if you play Halo, you just don't want to be stuck in the same skill set all your life. Yeah, and it is only in there to get people to play more games. Just like when I hear people say they need to make a casual GT. Okay, you casualize GT, right? Yeah, it may bring more people in, but now you're alienating that base. You're alienating that base that wanted a driving simulator, right? Because when I look at it from that, it's a driving simulator. You should be able to drive confidently. And if you can't, you should be able to learn, apply, and improve over time. Yes, it takes hours, but you can still have fun and still get better. You shouldn't have a game handhold you through the whole damn thing and say, it's okay, little Timmy. We gonna help you. You ain't gotta get better, Timmy. We're going to help you. Because again, as I said, at that damn point, you may as well just watch it on YouTube, which a lot of people do already. You may as well just watch it on YouTube and watch a whole YouTube walkthrough of a game. You get the same result. So anyway, I'm gonna go into 6 public Discord, um, and y'all can join me. Wait a minute. Oh, that's Barry, and they're up there doing multiplayer right now. I wonder what the hell they playing. Um, so if yes, I can open that for you. Here, girl, go. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Yeah, I know. Lunchables, they are yummy. And exactly, but you learned how to. Oh, you learned that at night you had to adjust based on whatever type of lighting situation you have. And it's like, it's funny because people don't want to learn games, but over my however many years of playing GT, because I've been playing GT since originally I started playing GT with GT2. I didn't start with GT1, but GT2 is my entry point into GT, really. And I started from there. And I went back and played GT1 just to see what was the difference. But it's so funny that I played these games for so long. I literally have most of the Nordschleife ingrained into my head so fucking hard. I know what gear I should be in, what angle I should hit a turn, when I should start turning in, when I should start straightening up, when I should accelerate. And that is like 70 plus goddamn turns on that course. And all that shit is in my mind. So at any given second, whenever I'm coming up to a turn, I know where to be at in that turn. Right? But again, that didn't come from the game handholding me. That came from trial, error and getting better. That's what that came from. That's literally what all that came from. So yeah, even in the dark, I would slow down to adjust, but I would still know, okay, I'm coming up on XYZ turn. So I need to get ready to do this while predicting 4 or 5 laps ahead. Okay, how should I gauge my fuel? How should I judge my tires? Am I losing it in the back? And I don't think a lot of gamers nowadays have that type of skill set, or how could I say, attention span to do that now. That's why you see like a lot of these shooters are getting more. They're dumbing down the shooters. A lot of the fighting games are dumbing down those. So honestly, it's just like the old heads versus new heads, and currently the new heads have the media behind them, and they're just going with the flow.
What's up, Court?
Yo, what's up, David?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, my brother. It's just been a long work week. Of course, with all this news popping up, I was just like, you know what? I think we need to have a talk about it, because it's a lot of stuff that I feel like in the Twitter conversation that people are just neglecting to think about. Because again, like I said, the era of gaming that I came through, you wore a lot of this stuff like a badge of honor. Now it's just given to people willy nilly with minimal effort. And it's like, I'm putting in all the effort, you're putting in no effort. We're both getting the same result at the end of the day. Yeah, I know some people are like, oh, well, that's just, nothing. But I'm like, at the same time, it's like, why have all these options for difficulty and I not get some kind of recognition? But yet you could just do this one game on the lowest of the lowest difficulties with immortality on and still get the same reward. That type of stuff.
I mean, it's to be honest with you, I kind of understand what you guys are talking about because let's say in Africa, we're like two gens behind or like a gen behind.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like there was a time where I just played games just to have fun. So I didn't care what difficulty level I was playing it on. So, but as I grew up, they started becoming boring. So I needed like, let me give you an example. It was FIFA.
Mm-hmm.
There was a time where every time I buy a new FIFA, and it's something I always do, I would put it on the lowest difficult level because I want to see how the gameplay is going to be first. Then when I master it, I just go to the highest level. But before I used to play on easy, until I got bored of it and started going on, higher difficulty levels and all that. Until I started playing on Legendary. The first time I played on Legendary on FIFA, I got my ass kicked. But with time, I got better, better, and better. Where at the point where even when I lost, I see I was having joy playing, enjoying the game.
Mm-hmm.
Though FIFA games were becoming trash and trash, but it's like it was like it was when I won a match on that level, it was worth it. It was like I grinded for this.
Yeah.
Like it felt like something worked. Understand? When and it has come to the point where when something is too easy, I'm like I'm good. Like I'm not gonna hide it. The first time I played on Charter 4, I played on easy because I could not like I tried the hard version. Yeah, I died immediately. So I went on easy first, beat the game, the story, then went back and played it on hard.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like if you went in and tried it on hard first and you seen that it was gonna be one of those things where you have to kind of ease yourself in and you tone it down a little bit just so you can get used to the game, then cool. By all means, do that. You are free to do that because that's your experience. But at the same time, you drove yourself to be like, okay, now I beat it on normal. Okay, now let me go to hard since I know all the mechanics, how everything works out, and let me play it then, right? So you were challenging yourself. But and that's why I made the thing about Doom, because Doom was always this twitchy shooter anyway, right? That was always based on frantic running around, shooting, jump, and doing all this other stuff. It was always like that. Same way with Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein was always one of those fast, in your face, visceral type of shooters where you wanted to really enjoy it, you had to crank up that difficulty just to get that real experience. You can't get that experience when you play it like on baby easy mode, or as I call it, journalist mode. That's why they literally made that difficulty. It was like, since we know y'all motherfuckers don't really play games, here you go, a mode that even a baby can play, right? Oh god, win 3 runs and is a silver trophy at 6% since Slay the Spire. I'm a masochist. God damn. Yeah, you a masochist, bro. 3 runs is a whew.
Was Contra? Did Contra have an easy mode like
No,
Contra on PS2? I
I mean,
remember me and my friends played in that game on
mm-hmm,
hard. Like that game was not easy. We used to like be like, okay, we're gonna make a team of two per
mm-hmm.
person. Like it used to be some fun stuff, man. Like you could not play on easy. Like you would get mocked.
No, because it was like, and that was the thing. Like, I laugh about it now, but I knew people back in the day on the original Contra that put in the Konami code and would lose all 99 lives. Like, it was the funniest shit to witness. It was like, bro, how trash do you have to be to lose all 99? Like, you literally legit got 99 goddamn lives, bro. How do you not beat this game? And
Yo,
I
what's
was
up,
all,
man?
and I was always the person that I was like, when I was a kid,
And
it took me a while to beat Contra. I'll admit it did when I was a kid.
yeah,
And
me too.
when I got it
I
on
mean,
the
I'm still a kid, but you know,
yeah,
when I played Contra,
but when it re-released on the 360, I got it and beat it in 30 minutes, and I was like, "Are you telling me this game when I was a kid was legit only 30 minutes long?" I was like, "Holy shit!" So that let me know that over time I just got better. Like, I started challenging myself to get better.
Yeah, as kids we sucked.
So suck ain't the word, but
So we was new
but
to this shit, right? It was like what,
yeah,
like Nintendo?
yeah, yeah, legit Nintendo. Because my older cousin, she had like the Master System and the NES. Well, I got my own NES, but she had like the Master System and the NES there. Whenever I would go over to her house, and I play like Sonic, and some other like Golden Axe and some of the Streets of Rage and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because I'll never forget going through Streets of Rage and trying to get to the end, and that boss was just whooping my ass, and whooping my
yo,
ass.
them beat 'em ups. I remember. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was X-Men or I don't know. It was a superhero game years ago.
That was
It was
X-Men.
like
X-Men
a
was crazy in the
yeah,
arcade.
yeah.
Oh
That
yeah,
yo, yo.
because I use
Like the thing is,
Gambit in that game.
listen,
Listen,
it's not
niggas
like I
used to get
never
in
use
fights with
like
people
cheat
that want to play
codes.
with Gambit. I think I seen like eight fist fights over people want to play with Gambit.
Well, this was when I think because it released on what, the Super Nintendo, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm talking about the arcade one
Yeah,
with with the
well
eight players.
yeah. But they had ported it over to the Super Nintendo too, where like you could play as Storm, Wolverine, Cyclops, and Gambit.
Yeah.
So me and my cousins, I would always pick Gambit. They just, they like Wolverine because it was Wolverine. I was like, nah, I want to be Gambit because he had some shit he could throw out at a distance. Wolverine, you gotta be up in motherfuckers' faces. I'm like, nah, I
I
need to.
always was the youngest. I could never be any other character. I always had to be the girl.
Yo,
But
I remember this time I played Tekken. That was against my sister, man. Like, and that was like on hard. She whooped my ass. Like, has been playing that game all her life. I was like, yo, how you been doing that shit, bro? I had to go and train myself on the hardest difficulty or whatever. Like she did the same thing to me on FIFA because at the beginning I was like better than her, but she like playing that shit on easy because she didn't like losing or whatever. But I challenged her and told her, "Yo, if you keep playing on easy, you would never get to my level." Guess what? She went and started playing that shit on hard until one day she beat me in FIFA.
yeah, I
Legit,
mean,
like she beat me.
that was a way, like, because when I played Madden, my uncle was just like, he put it on all Madden. Every version of Madden, he put it on all Madden difficulty, right?
Yeah.
So when I played against him, he would just easily run it over me because this was when Emmett Smith was still in the game. This was on PS1. He would get the Dallas Cowboys and just wax me. Like, no love lost, just
Well, see,
honestly.
that's not fair. That's the '90
Yeah,
Cowboys, man. They were too fucking
exactly.
good.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Word.
Because that version of the Cowboys was unstoppable. Then when Brett Favre got on the cover and he was a cover athlete, you couldn't stop Brett Favre.
Nah, you couldn't even tackle him. He would break your tackle like
So
every
for
fucking time you
me,
got the chance. Yeah.
yeah. So for me playing against him, he would literally put the defense, offense, whatever on all Madden difficulty. So I'm up here playing. I'm usually one that played on easy. I'm getting demolished. Until
Yeah.
one day I finally started like, look, I gotta start amping up my game. Like if I wanna play against him, knowing how he plays, I gotta start training against better CPUs. This is why like when I used to work at GameStop, my homies were there that were like FGC, they would play Street Fighter competitively. They wouldn't train on like 5. They trained on 10.
Shit, yeah. Matter of
Because
fact, it got to a point that you couldn't even. I got well in the same just since I'm a fighting game guy. It got to a point training like fighting on 10 became too easy, so you just
yeah.
had to play against other players.
And that's what they told me. They was like, I would play on 10 until 10 became too easy, and then it was just like, because you could predict the AI, and then it was like one day I was looking up stuff. It was, I don't know, YouTube's weird. They'll just start bringing up shit. I think I had talked about Mortal Kombat, so they were bringing up, the tournament history of XYZ character, right? Like, when Reptile was his strongest, when he was his weakest. But then they also talked about how the arcade games were literally programmed to take quarters from you by doing shit that you
Yeah,
physically couldn't do. And they
counting
was like,
frames and shit.
yeah, they was slowing it down. I was like, wow, that's really fucked up. But people finally learned how to overcome it and get through the arcade ladder at the arcade setting with that went from like 1 to 10 on Fight 4. I was
Yeah,
like, that's fucking stupid.
when you get it good enough to you have to get to understand frames. You have to get the frame data, understand what a frame trap is. It's getting a little
Hmm.
pretty easier from that point, especially when it comes to fighting games. But oh, first of all, I want to say I'm proud that you started your own shit. I always thought that you should. I think that you got a voice that people need to hear, and you're an intelligent brother, and I just want to support you as much as I can. And
I I
glad that
appreciate
you
that,
done. I'm
man.
glad you're doing this.
Hey, I appreciate it. It's just been one of those things. It's like I find time doing it. And I was like, nah, I kind of get unmotivated to do it. But it was just like this. Whenever it's stuff that I really think needs to be talked about. Like this, one of those things. Just like the couple of weeks ago was the whole indie devs not being spotlighted on PlayStation and them complaining. And I
Yeah, I
was
got
like,
a
look,
lot to say about that. I got a
like,
lot to say about that.
bro, this the whole gaming community is just such a goddamn disarray right now. It's so goddamn funny. But
But
Yo,
the whole thing about the indie devs complaining, um, my thing is, it's like you're an indie dev for a reason. Your struggle to make these games is personified in the work that you create, and
mm-hmm.
for you to complain a platform is not promoting the game that you made and you feel like that it's unfair. To me, it's like saying, "Oh, I did this such work and I want to be independent, but I want special treatment at the same time." It seemed like some type of privilege to me
Yeah,
that other people are not afford. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like y'all acting, y'all being privileged now. Y'all talk about y'all indie devs, but y'all acting for privilege to be up here where people that actually spend money. You know, talk about like the 25K, which is not true. The 25K for getting getting your thing on a
front page
yeah, yeah, getting
treatment,
the
pretty
front
much.
page on. It's about your relationship with said company. If you don't have a great relationship, like there are like five motherfuckers that you get to talk to through Sony that deal with the independents. I forgot the one dude that I'm talking to, but it's like there are five guys that you get to speak to, and whatever your fucking your relationship is, it's what it is. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's like, but for you to complain that your game is not on the front page and you think that's the reason why you're not making money, I'm like, shouldn't you work harder to get your own game out there to promote your own shit? If you don't got the money to pay for anybody else to promote your shit, think about that. I want you to help me promote my game so I can make money. I, I won't put the money up to help myself promote my shit.
mm-hmm.
I want you to
And
do it for free.
yeah,
I want
and
you
I
to use
can,
your resources. I want you to use your resources and your money to promote something I have.
yeah.
That don't make sense to me.
It don't make sense, and I kind of related it back to because you know the hustle of people like indie artists on the street. They selling CDs out the back of their trunk, right? I was like, they know that they got to do a lot of groundwork to get their music out there. It
Hmm.
can't be no, oh, somebody should just promote my stuff and put it out there. No, they know they have to put in the work. Like they want to get it out there. Okay, go pass your CD around. Go say, hey, listen to it. Give me a review. Shout it out on Facebook, whatever, YouTube. Spread the word. But you're not gonna go and just demand somebody be like, hey,
You're
you
not.
need to promote my shit for
Kid, you're not
free.
gonna do that to Apple and YouTube. You're not gonna go to Apple. You need to promote my stuff because I want to become more famous. It's no happen that way.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't happen that way. And if I can speak to my turn, like to the in the drug game, you can't go onto the block expecting somebody to be like, oh, okay, just give me drugs and let me sell it and make money. No, you ain't coming on my block making money. If you're not gonna pay me what you're making here. It doesn't work that way.
Yep.
So you're not gonna promote your shit. I don't give a fuck how good your shit is. You gonna pay me for being on my block.
Yeah.
PlayStation saying, if y'all want all this, you want to pay us. I don't see
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it.
I didn't see nothing wrong with it either because I'm like, you
it's
got to think
business,
about
man.
it. It's
It's all business.
at any given time, there's probably thousands of other devs out there, vying for that same spot. So they're like, okay, you want that spot? How much does that spot really mean to you? Do you really believe in your product that hard that that spot is going to be worth that investment? Because I promise you, if you're not willing to invest in your own self and your own product and your own belief, then why should I? Why should I give
Don't
you
call
that
yourself an
spot?
independent either. It's like that's you it's like you're like, oh no, I need all this help. All right, then sign the deal. You're like a 360 artist or something. You don't want to
Mm-hmm.
be independent. You want all this help, then sign the deal. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Hell,
it,
but
it,
that's kind of why I look at the studio that they Cuphead. They believed in that project so much, they remortgaged their house.
have
Like
to.
they did what was necessary to get that game out.
Have
Like,
to, man. Like this not in anything.
This
They don't want you here. They don't want you to make it or whatever else. So you got to put yourself in this in a position to make it. You know, the person that you creating a game that you get the platform to, it's that privilege shit like I hear like from from Epic Games. No, we deserve to put our shit on your store because we deserve that. That's the same argument.
hmm
The same exact argument that Epic and Xbox having against Apple.
yeah. It's like, oh,
It,
we're on your platform. We shouldn't have to be tied to your goddamn platform rule.
Exactly. You
Bullshit.
can't. It's crazy. Like you asking somebody else. Like you like when you on the okay. One thing I can say about PlayStation, I wish that their independent department was more robust, was bigger. I wish that you can speak to more people that when you need help with the dev kits and shit like that. I wish
Mm,
that actually was more. You wasn't on a phone or writing a email and waiting almost 2 to 3 weeks just to get one question answered.
yeah.
That's one thing they need to do. They just need to put more people in positions to in that job so people could be able to talk. That's the only thing bad I can say about it. But everything else, you have to hustle that yourself.
hmm Oh, believe me, because I damn sure look at when they was complaining about PlayStation. I want to say, so how y'all feel about Steam? Because I know goddamn well y'all getting lost in the sauce over there.
Or
Like, especially the way they be dropping games daily. I was like, bro, your game will be up there one day and gone, and the goddamn slosh the next. That shit just disappeared like it didn't even matter. Like, if a motherfucker didn't wish listed on Steam, they wouldn't find it unless they just knew it was on there.
how when why would a motherfucker wishlist your game in particular? What about your game deserve that wishlist from anyone?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm looking at the people that were complaining and the games that they made. I was like, first of
Who is
all,
who is
we
looking
only
for these
fuck with people that
games?
fuck make money. It's like if you're not, we can't fuck with you if your game not gonna make us money. Why would I fucking promote you?
Right.
I'm
You
glad you're on the platform. Yeah, come on the platform, play your 30% or whatever else. But
well, and
like,
that was the thing. Like, when I looked at some of the games, I'm like, who is really looking for this though? Like,
or
like legit, not discrediting their work. But sometimes it's just like that influx of Steam shovelware that's flooding on the PlayStation. It's like, who is looking for this?
exactly.
Who is legit saying, "Oh yeah, I want to play this daddy dating simulator"? Like, who is looking for this shit?
And they trying to say, well, Sony put on Black Tiger on the what's it called? They paid their money to get put up there. What the fuck?
As trash as that game may have
The
been,
trash of that game is. Those motherfucker put their money up to be like,
right?
um, I promote this, please. It's not that. Truthfully, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
Not that hard.
Good.
If somebody say, "All right, we'll do this, but pay this," and you say, "No, I shouldn't have to pay anything," that's crazy privilege to me.
Yeah.
Wait, were most of them white too? Like, like you consider thinking that everything should be given to them? Come on.
Yeah, and it was just like, Ariel Knight's black, so when he blocked me, it was like, bro, I'm just coming from a realistic point of view, and you coming at talking about, oh, nobody could find my game without using the search function. I was like, ain't that the purpose of the search function?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
like in 2021 or hell, even in the modern times period, isn't that the purpose of a search function? You got a search button on Google, you got a search button on your phone. Ain't that the purpose of it? To help
Yeah.
you find what you looking for, but yet you bitching because people got to use it? Like, what kind of privileged asinine bullshit is this, bruh? Like, and I was just being real. Not when I did that first episode, I was just legit speaking to him like, I would
Wish I
almost,
wish I saw your first episode, man. I'm gonna watch it later on.
yeah, go watch it because you're gonna see that dad side of me coming out. Like I'm speaking to him almost like he's my kid, but I'm speaking from a good place because it's like, okay, I
Yeah.
get it, brother. You out here trying to make your dreams come true,
Word.
but you ain't paying your dues. You can't just expect motherfuckers to hand you W's and you ain't paying nothing. That ain't how shit work nowhere in any
Like
type of
and I want to
advertising.
add. I also want to add. Sony also put money up for all the devs making on during the pandemic. 10 million they put up. Put up 10 million. If you were the dev and you had their fucking had their kit, they gave you money. Not gonna unclose what they gave me, but they gave me. So
Yeah.
it's like as long as you had that dev kit, they gave you something. They sent it to your account. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he was one of the people that was that participated, that received that. I can't speak to that, but they're out here helping. But then you bite the hand that feeds you. I don't come from that
Yeah.
at all.
But that's why I was looking at. I was like, bro, you really trying to air them out and trying to be like, oh, I'm, not naming no names. Like, bro, we know who you talking about. Like, goddamn. Like at this point, just say the name because you just trying to sound vindictive and scorned for some reason. Like you went on a bad date. Now you got to talk shit.
It's like one of those like when I forgot the name of that comedian. That woman was talking about, oh, he raped me, he sexually assaulted me, but come to find out, it just was a bad date. She told him to go down on her. He did it. She didn't like it and walked away.
Uh huh.
Like, and then she talk about no, it was assault. No, it just was a bad date. Y'all two didn't click, and that's it.
Yep. I think I remember that too. Why you
It was the
bringing that up?
the Indian cat, a Syra or some shit.
Oh yeah. I remember that now. Which again, that's just like damn you up here getting all mad and pissy. It was like it was just bad. Like it was just bad
Word.
sex, like bad consensual sex, and you went off the deep end.
Yeah, word. Like I've been in that position plenty of times where you're not feeling it and you can't perform. Then she looking at
Yeah,
you like you crazy. You're like, dog, like come on, like like what you expect?
it's just like
I
hey,
can't be.
we just ain't vibing, bro. It
It
is what
just
it is.
it's a vibe. It's a whole vibe, and that vibe is not that frequency is not connected, or that we're not on the same wavelength. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm not no fucking porn star in this shit. You know what I mean? Like fuck. And if I'm tired, I'm going to sleep on your ass.
Oh man, bro. I tell my wife every time. I'm like, look, I love you, but right now I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm tired. It ain't happening, bro.
It's like, yo, I don't got the fucking energy. I'm sorry.
Like she was like, you ain't gotta move. I can believe me. Nah,
I
just
don't
we
want you to
just
touch me.
I just want to lay down and go to sleep. Like
Please.
I don't want no action. Even though I would probably it was like I would enjoy it, but at the same time I was like, look, I don't want no action. None.
Yeah,
Just
it's like,
leave
like
that.
I don't want to make you more disappointment than you are now.
Exactly, bro. It,
Like,
and she was up there like, so you just tell me you just. I'm like, and it's not that I don't love you. It's just I'm not there right now. Like,
yeah, yeah.
so if you just want some damn bad dick tonight, you just go get some. Like I'm sorry. Like shit. But
All you can do is sit there and apologize.
yeah,
Like,
but she knows when I'm ready to go. She knows like
yeah.
she'll know because she'll be like the next day she was like, "What the fuck did you do last night?" I'm like, "Hey,
Hmm.
this is why I say every night ain't a good night, but when it's time." It's time, then you gonna I make sure you remember it.
Right, right. Shit, man.
She was like,
Yo,
"Shit,
I
you need
also,
go ahead,
oh, I'm bad. I also want to speak on the difficulty thing.
Go ahead.
And
Go ahead. Speak your piece on that one.
and I'm and, I already, you already know that I'm trying my hardest to create my own independent game and shit, and the shit is hard as fuck. Just to let you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's more taxing than I thought it would be, but this is what I wanted to do, so I live in my dream or whatever else, I guess. But fighting games have it the worst right now, as far as difficulty. For some reason they believe that easier inputs, less buttons means more players having an easier time enjoying my game. Right? Um, Fighting games are the niche game themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how easy make the functions are. I don't give a fuck. It's one button that you press all the fucking time, and you do everything you want. You're going to get your ass kicked in a fighting game.
Yeah.
You are going to lose. Fighting games should prepare you for that type of loss. It should prepare you and make sure that you understand the functions and you understand the direction. You understand every single thing that you have to do to make your character
Yeah.
better. And if you don't do that, you lose. And you have to understand why you lost. And if you can get through all that and want to continue to play, then okay. Okay, now you playing a fighting game. Now you really getting into it. Now you got over that hump. You really
Mm-hmm.
playing the game that you want and you enjoying yourself. It's more than making a game easy. It's more like, first of all, you gotta have characters that people want to play with. That's the
Right.
first and foremost. I don't give a fuck what type of. I don't give a fuck. You got the best functions in a fighting game. If your characters are whack, people is not going to play it. You know what I mean?
Correct.
If your characters are trash, like they look stupid, no one's not going to play your game.
Oh, that's
And
true.
yeah, and so all right, let's get beyond that. All right, let's get with the functions. I don't think I don't think the difficulty of the functions even matter. Um, Having it easy could work. uh you know what I mean, different buttons or that. Let's talk about like Street Fighter. You got 6 buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Each buttons do different things. As long that I understand that each button do a different thing and I can sit there and I can do combos or I can learn how to do combos, um maybe that can help me through the difficulty of this game.
Right.
My thing is, fighting games do a bad job explaining what a combo is. They do a bad job explaining what exactly does this move do, what does this move stop. There's not even there's not a lot of fighting games that even explain what are frames and what are within the frames, what frame data, what you should be looking at when you're playing the game. A lot of fighting games don't do that. I think the closest one right now is just Guilty Gear. Is the closest one as far as it's more user friendly.
Yeah.
People get, what I'm saying, that they're more user friendly, explain a lot of what's going on in the game. But one thing it doesn't explain or prepare you is the loss, what you should do beyond the game and how you should approach it.
Right. And I
So
think,
it's like, yeah, go
and I
ahead.
was, and you're, talking about frame data and like, um, I think Virtual Fighter because I'm light
Over,
into
yeah,
fighting games, but I love Virtual Fighter because it seems like you would literally have to sit down there and learn
you have to.
what. Yeah, you have to learn how to string together these combos because it's really chain based, and I mean like to the millisecond. Like as soon as you do this, and it tells you like you have to hold this, release this, and do this all within this chain to get this combo to work. And
Yeah,
if you don't do that exact thing at the right time, then you're just gonna whiff it.
you're
So
right, right. And you know what? And to speak to your shooting game, when you were talking about shooting games and shit, first person shooters and shit. Um, I don't know if that's my shit or not. Let me see. Uh, uh,
I'm gonna say, wait a minute, that might have been me.
uh one thing that been like, I think they probably do a good job, like Call of Duty, but
Yeah.
it's legacy skill.
Mm-hmm.
um you know a game should explain, look, I'm about to play this fighting game. When you go online, you're gonna deal with people with legacy skill. When you play one fighting game, you play them all. As long as you got that knowledge of how a fighting game works, you almost can play every single last one of them.
Yeah.
If this is your first time playing a fighting game, you are going to lose, and you're gonna lose a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, if I can get people that play my game, if I can get them to play my game and understand that they're gonna lose, I have to explain to them why what we gonna do from here. How can I help motivate you, continue on playing this game and to get better? I think that's where the difficulty should that's where the argument should lie instead of inputs and making the game easier. It should be more about me teach you how to play this game and let you know what you're doing wrong when you're playing this game so you can get better.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that would be too much hand holding in a way or whatever else. But if you're a legacy player, I mean, this shouldn't even matter to you. Or if you're good at video games in general, this shouldn't even matter to you that somebody want to play on easy. My thing is, I'd rather you play on hard so you can get used to what exactly is going on at this moment, so you can actually make your own progression naturally
Yeah.
through the game.
And that was kind of like me whenever I began my GT journey all those years ago. It was like when I first started off, it was like, yeah, I kind of gotta play it on a easier race to get used to everything and how everything functions. But it was like, okay, I can only do these easier races so much before it becomes like, okay, I'm not really advancing. I'm kind of just stuck. So then that's when I started challenging myself, and then that's becoming more okay. What's my process on this track? Who are my opponents? What would I do in this situation? Considering like, okay, I run into a wall, I got some damage. What do I do? How do I handle it? Should I go in and lose time, or should I adjust and probably limp it across the line and stuff like that? That's why I love my like racing games a lot, especially like sims that are really hardcore into the thought process of the progress of a race over time and you having to think 5 steps ahead because you're not just racing, you're racing against other people, but you're also racing against you're pretty much you're driving, but you're driving in a way that's like, okay, how can I shave off time? Should I can go in this lap and hopefully take this risk of going in now, losing a couple of spots, then everybody going in after me, and I'm taking first place on the next lap. But it's all gonna come down to a quick judgment game based on how the other field, and you're gauging this based on like, okay, I know what my fuel usage is in this car. What's their fuel usage? If I know they can extend their stuff out a little bit more, I might want to tweak mine some. Just be like, okay, let me stay out this one extra lap so I can keep pace with them. Because I know
Oh,
if when they go in and I go in behind them, I'm still guaranteed to hold my spot. But if I go in before them, I'm guaranteed to lose 6 spots and never catch back up with them for the rest of the race. So I'm pretty much screwed. So it's more. But
wow.
whenever I see people saying that you want to play the game with assists like auto braking and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, that's cool. You're playing single player, do your thing. But if you ever step into that online arena of GT Sport or GT in general, they turn all that off. All that hand holding is gone.
Yeah, it's
So
not going to that handhold. That's the thing. That's another negative thing on the hand holding or the difficulty or lowering things. It's not going to make you better.
yeah.
Then you become reliant on that your hand being held. You become reliant on that, and when it's gone, you don't know how to act.
hmm Because it was, man, and I started literally training myself like, yeah, you can rock with the traction control, right? But then you learn traction control is good in certain aspects, when you're lower in the tiers of the racers. But once you start getting higher, you're up here like, how are they going that fast? It's because they start turning that traction control off. Because you start learning traction control actually slows you down and doesn't let you get the full potential out of your car. Yeah, it's a
Damn,
little
that's
bit
like
more.
going from manual, that's like going from automatic to manual.
Yeah, yeah, you get it's a little bit more skittish, it's a little bit more skill based, but you start seeing that improvement from you doing a 126. Now you're doing like a 123. You go from a 123 because you start tweaking the anti-lock brake system. So now you go from a 123 to a 120. So it's
Okay.
like, yeah, you can legit train yourself to get better. Yeah, you can still use some of the aids to start off, especially if you're new. But you literally, to enjoy every aspect of the game, for me personally, it's like start training yourself because one night Rome Rush was up there playing GT Sport, right? Not seeing him, he was up there using some of the assists. And so I hopped in the lobby. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna just hop in the lobby and kind of guide you around and give you a feel of the track and let you slowly start speeding up, right? Because I was like, you got the basics down, but I know you can improve. And I showed him, I was like, it don't matter what car you have. It's about knowing the car, knowing the track, and being comfortable in any given situation, right?
Yeah.
So I told him, go to the pit. I'm gonna do like the quickest lap I can possibly do. Not like the fastest lap, but in a quick pace to where you can kind of see like, okay, when you hit this turn, you don't have to slow down. You don't have to hit the brake. Just ease up off the gas. Let the car carry you through the turn.
Let the weight of the car carry you through the turn.
Yeah. And once he started doing that, and he went and started running laps, he started getting faster because he started getting more comfortable. He started pushing himself. And I was saying, if you push yourself too hard and you go off track, that's cool, but you're learning at the same time. Then when you come back
That's
to that
fucking dope.
turn, I can't exactly gun it at this point. I need to ease off a little bit, and then when I straighten up, then I can gun it. Cause
That's
you
cool
never
as
want to
shit.
just gun it in a curve unless it's like one of them wide banking curves that you really can just floor it through there no problem. But if it's like one of those cut 85-degree turns and you're kind of nipping it from the right, going into the apex and coming out back on the right side of the road, then yeah, that's one of those get off the gas, let it coast, maybe micro or feather the brake just to kind of pull that momentum back and let it still carry you through. If you're not comfortable, if you feel it sliding, do that little micro adjustment. But as soon as you straighten up, just gun it.
It's
That
real.
type of stuff.
It's real. Shit. See, I bought every single GT, but I never really played it competitively or played well. I just
Mm-hmm.
played it because thoughts like it. You put that game on the TV, girls be like, "Oh my god," and
Yeah.
and oh, you make me want to. All right, the GT7, but GT7, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Coming out. Yeah, I'm buying that, and you gonna make me learn how to play that game.
And,
I can
and
appreciate exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm inspired now.
look, and that's the thing, because it's like people like, how do you when you play GT? Like, what do you do? And I was like, I always go to this one particular track. It's the longest track you could possibly drive on. And that track literally has every kind of turn layout you can imagine for any other track that you would drive on. So based on what car you're driving, if you're saying, okay, I just want to stick with Corvettes, that track will let you know how a Corvette will handle certain turns, how your back end, your front end, how it's going to distribute weight going up a hill, going down a hill, going into any type of turn, right? And I
Hmm.
always tell people I can visualize that whole course, all 70 plus turns of that course in my head while I'm sleeping.
Man,
Because when you start off, you start like a mile back from the start finish line or start finish straight on the course itself, unless you're doing like the full circuit, which includes the GP course. So you're coming up this hill, you're going to go up these series of S turns. And you can do these S turns in like second gear. You're gonna come to this 90-degree right after you get out of those S's, and you gotta drop that sucker down to one. But as soon as you drop it down to one and you straighten up, you gun it, get into about third possibly, depending on the car. But you're gonna come to like this 85-degree right turn or left turn that's going downhill, but it's kind of banked on the inside and kind of curved on the outside, so it's weird. So it's like your
Oh,
inside wheels will be touching, but your outside wheels just have like the inside edge sometimes.
oh shit.
So you
Wow.
literally
It's
gotta
okay.
hit this turn correctly, or else you might go too fast and go right off, or go too shallow and you'll kind of throw the back end around.
Right.
So once you come out of that, pop it back into third, you're going, and you can literally kind of leave it in third through this series of curves. You got to go like left, right, left. You're going to go up a slight little hill into a down right that's going to connect into a shallow left that's going to shoot you uphill. And when you go uphill, you can gun it, but you don't want to gun it so hard because when you hit the hill, that hill flattens out right at the top. So what's
Shit.
going to happen, the front of your car is going to lift up while your back is still back there. And you're going to have literally airtime where you're just seeing the sky for a little bit and then your front end just crashes down. But when that front end crashes down, you're going into an immediate right. So if you hit it too hard, you're going to overshoot it, hit the wall. If you do it just right, you'll get a little bit of airtime, but it'll still be controllable where you can just drop it down like fifth gear, hit that right turn. And from there, from that right turn, you can literally just kind of keep it in six, go across these high speed turns, go down into a valley, up over a hill that's going left. But
Right.
the way you got to go up the hill, or should I say down the hill, that you have to start on the right and it dips in the middle on the right side. So you kind of got to go left, back up right to hit the right side of this turn because it's a blind turn over a hill. And once you hit over here, you can floor it. You could pretty much floor it depending on the car. So you can leave it in
Hmm.
sixth gear, hit that left turn going over, blind left turn over the hill. But as soon as you get past that turn, you got to break that sucker down like third to second gear because you're going to hit a
Wow.
hard banking right. And that's not
Oh
even 25% of the track. But I
shit.
described like probably 20 plus turns.
It is GT Sport
Yeah,
or
this is in GT Sport.
I got that game. I only played it once. Shoot, okay.
Yeah, the track is like 18 miles long? Yeah, the track itself is like 18 miles long, 70 plus turns, but it'll literally throw you elevation changes of all types of stuff in front of you to where, like, when I say you could literally train on this track and tune your car based on that, and you could probably go to any other tracks on the game outside of like one, just because this Laguna Seca is the only course that has that corkscrew turn, that downhill corkscrew. That's the only turn you cannot replicate on that track. Every other turn, you got that turn on that track. I'm talking about from hairpins to wide banking fast turns to shallow left, shallow rights, 90 degrees, 85, 75s. You got it there. Up, downhill turns, blind turns, everything. So
Okay,
that's
so and now I feel like a new player. I'm intimidated by every fucking thing you just said.
it, and that's
I'm
the
gonna try.
thing. I
But I want to learn. I want to know much as I can about video games, especially about games that I don't play.
yeah.
I actually started playing on Fallout, Fortnite like a couple weeks ago. I only played like a couple matches, but I understand why that game is so popular. You can just feel it, money that's in that game, and
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, I can understand why this shit is so popular now because I actually can feel the game being popular. being made to be this way. It's like, okay, this is to me in my eyes. People probably frown upon it, but I think that's a perfect game for what it does.
Yeah,
That's the perfect game. It's like, okay, this is what everybody this is the holy grail that everybody after trying to replicate. Like, most likely you won't be able to. But
mm,
for games with skill is games that I'm more more interested in. And yeah, okay, I'm gonna have to start playing GT, man. I'm gonna have to start playing GT. I
yeah,
really want to
and
get
like,
into it now. This shit sounds fun.
look, and
When you I
like I,
I played it, you play the game, you play the practice game, you just racing. Oh yeah, yeah, just racing, having fun and shit, crashing to the wall where they're laughing. But look at my car, it's cool. But
yeah,
it's like you explain it the way you explain it, and that's the shit. I want to do that. I'm like, oh, that's a hairpin right. Oh shit, I know all about that shit. It's like real racing. Well, it is real racing. It's
yeah,
simulation.
and that's the thing. That's why I always tell people they were like, how, cause, and I tell people this like back in the day when GT3 came out, they have like endurance races that you can do for like 3, 6, 12, 24 hours, right? Like legit 24 hours, not no simulated 24 hours. Like you could literally do a 24-hour race.
I remember those.
Yeah.
I didn't. I
And
never did it, but I remember
yeah.
seeing endurance races.
So it was like a couple of times I would legit sit back and do a 6-hour race. Like I would take after like 3 hours, I'll take a break because you that's why I always look at people that say, "Oh, racers aren't real athletes." I'm like, look, bro,
It's crazy.
racing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I
racing
hear that's
is
what you don't understand.
yeah. I was like, you don't understand the mental toll racing takes on you and the physical toll, because the physical toll comes from you got to have that endurance to sit in the car doing pretty much the same repetitive motions for hours, but you're gonna start getting tired, you're hot, you're sweaty, you're everything. Plus that mental drain of you're doing the same, that mental fortitude you gotta have to mentally think, okay, this turn is coming up, I got this person in front of me, should I draft, should I stay a little bit behind them, just, keep up a pace. And you gotta do that for like 50, 60, 70 laps sometimes. Like
Without
that
even
is a
overthinking it.
that
It's
that
like
is a test of mental fortitude. And if you just make the
it's
slightest mistake,
exactly.
that's it.
Anybody can equate to that because it's like think about anything that you have done like regularly and you fuck up on it, or think
Mm-hmm.
about something that you was writing and you misspell a word. It's the same. This is the same aptitude they're going through,
Yeah.
and it, they doing it under more duress than just writing. They doing it under duress of the force of the vehicle, the speed of it, whoever behind you, you following drift. So you got to calculate. You doing math and science all at the same fucking time at
Pretty,
speeds up to 100 or over.
yep.
That is ridiculous. The
And that's
motherfucker that say that's not a sport is bitches, like straight
yeah,
up.
they are because I'll never forget this race on GT Sport that I had. We were in the they weren't F1 cars, but they were like a step under the F1 cars, right? And I started like in 10th place. And that whole race, I was just like, look, if I can make it to the top 5, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
And when I say it was literally inches between everybody, like we were in such tight formation, it wasn't nobody trying to do any stupid shit. We were all trying to just, make it through there, be clean as possible. And that was the most fantastic race I can remember because people were literally so hyper focused. I could almost imagine them sitting beside me playing, and they were in that same mind frame of like, okay, we all hitting the brake. I'm hitting the brake in 3, 2, 1. Hit the brake, turn in. Person behind him, 3, 2, 1. Hit the brake, turn in. 3, 2. And it was just like a literal train of cars. And when people were ready to pass, you knew when they were going to pass because like I can't keep
Felt it.
this. Yeah, you felt it. It's like yeah, I'm gonna get past, and I know I don't want to screw him up, right?
Can you speak to that? like okay, so basically you basically like a race car driver right now,
Hmm.
and you were talking about how you was in the tight formations. How those formations are being formed? What is the what is the function of those formations, and how how do you pass someone without causing a crash, without causing what's it called? How do you overtake that person to get right back in that formation again to continue on that race? Is those
It's
formations? I'll ask you so many damn questions,
no,
but
no,
those
no.
formations primarily, or those formation primarily for you to like catch your breath and just trying to weigh everything's out. Like, what are you thinking?
In any given moment, like let's say I get in behind somebody, right? We can play one or two games. We can fight and potentially screw both our races up, or we almost have a tentative cooperation in some
Mm,
situations where like, okay, I'm behind you, you're behind me, we got a little gap to get to the leader, right? And let's say he's like 2 seconds ahead, and that doesn't sound like much when you think about it in time wise. But in
yeah.
racing, two
So,
seconds is a huge ass gap. That is a monumental gap. And don't even think about like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds behind. Oh, you're not even catching up at that point. Unless something just drastically happens in front of you. Like an act of God and they just totally just spin out and wreck. That's the only way you catching up. But a person that's in that rhythm, and I remember this vividly because it was just me. It was me in second, the guy behind me in third, and the person in front of me in first.
yeah.
And what we were doing is I'm looking at my tire gauges, I'm looking at my fuel, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm in his position. I know we're all gonna have to go in and refuel at some point. He is probably either going to save fuel, and I can tell when they start saving fuel because you're not putting out enough power to keep up a certain pace like you were at the beginning of the race, right?
Right. Right.
Or if their tires are going out, you noticing they're starting to slow down a little bit before they a little bit further behind the turn than they normally would. So you're gauging this lap by lap, like you're trying to find that weak point in their strategy. And once you find it, it's like, okay, on turn three in the next two laps, I know I can take him. The whole time I'm following in behind him and I'm applying pressure just in case he just magically breaks. Because
Yeah.
that formation, like once the pack starts breaking up and y'all start getting to y'all little subsection of formations, like everybody falling in behind everybody, that's when you start applying that I'm here pressure, but I'm not going to pass you because I want you to mess up. I don't want to mess you up. I
Mm,
want you to have some kind of mental break and I throw you off focus. And you might overshoot a turn and that might throw you off the course a little bit. So that gives me an opening to go past you. Or if they're trying to conserve gas because they were like, look, I undercalculated my fuel usage. Now I gotta throttle everything down and hopefully keep my lead while defending. And if I catch you in a straight, most people, if they're a really clean racer, they're not going to fight you because look, you already got the speed advantage. There ain't no sense in holding the next person up just because you screwed up on your calculations for fuel. And when I
shit.
say you screwed up your calculations for fuel, you'll get a lap estimator how much fuel you're going to use. So, like, let's say they set it for 5 times the normal fuel usage on a 15 lap race, right? So that pretty much means for every lap of that race, you're doing like 5 laps. So a 15 lap race would pretty much be a 75 lap race in real life, somewhere around there, right? And
Shit.
that person went into pit stop, and it was
Yeah.
like, okay, we got like 5 laps to go. Only need so much gas, but they underfuel it just ever so slightly. And this is the thing where I'm talking about where it comes to seconds in the pits, because you can
Hmm.
either get that extra bit of fuel and stay in there an extra second, or you can quick change it and get less fuel and stay in there, 2 less seconds. But now when you get to the end of the race, you're like damn near on E. and so you don't know if you're gonna make it or not. So you're on the hope and the prayer then, and you don't want to over feel. So now you're not gassing as much as you used to. You're kind of coasting more through turns, letting just the down the straights. You're kind of feathering the gas and kind of letting it just mosey along. Now, if you're in front, like way ahead of everybody, yeah, you can do that. That's fine. But when you're in a heated race where it's like one, two, and three are within a second of each other and everybody's on everybody's ass, you lost the race 2 laps ago.
God damn. That's
So
crazy.
that's
That's
why I said
crazy.
it's such a mental game because I'm trying to think what are they thinking in their head because
Yeah.
like usually when I do like the manufacturer series they tie you to a specific car or a brand of car for that season or whatever, right? And you can pick whatever whoever they have up for a manufacturer. You can pick them. So you want to be like Toyota. Toyotas they're usually good on fuel, but they're not the speediest car, right?
Nice.
Porsches are more like the middle ground. They're speedy, they're agile, they got good fuel mileage. But then you got something like the Nissans that are like super goddamn fast. Agility not so good, but they're gas hungry. The same way with the
Mm,
Corvettes.
yeah.
And I'll
Make a
usually
lot.
always go with Chevy because the way the Corvettes are set up, their wide wheelbase makes it easier to take curves, and it's really stable. Like your tail end won't slide out from under you like some like say a Porsche. A Porsche can slide off from under you so damn quick, it's ridiculous. And I mean just like the slightest of a pedal push, and that sucker might come off from under you just because
Is it?
it's so light.
Yeah.
Like Ferraris, anything that has an engine in the back, that front end is so light and everything's focused in the back that you could literally just oversteer it and understeer it too damn heavy.
Shit.
So
So, man. Okay. Okay. It's a game. It's a game. That's how game's supposed to be, man.
yeah,
It's to be
it's a game,
intricate.
but that's how a game's supposed to be.
How a game's supposed to be. It's like if a game is like that's a video game. It's like, oh shit, are you telling me if I do this and play this game, and I was watching the guys on PlayStation doing GC, what's it called, on my days off and shit, and I'm not really doing much. When the PlayStation had like those tournaments and shit, and with a racing tournament, I just turn it on and probably fall asleep, take a nap from it. But it's like, if I'm doing this and I'm thinking about this, you probably can do this shit in real life. That's that's what video games supposed to be. It's supposed to be inspiring and it's not supposed to be just easy, just for you can have fun. This is an experience. This is God. That just sounds fun as fuck, man. Like,
Yeah, and that's the thing. It is fun. Like even, and this is the way I look at it. Because I'll go in a race sometimes and purposely not do my qualifying just to see how I could actually do in a race where I'm in dead last. How many spots could I advance? Now, it's
shit.
sometimes I'll be like, okay, this is my favorite track. They got my favorite car. Let's go qualify. I want to get in at least top five starting this race because I want to have that, you know. Because what it is, they keep a record of every win, every because they judge you in this game based on how well you drive, how clean you drive, how fast you drive.
Real
Like,
racing.
yeah, real racing. And that affects your status about how fast you level up and stuff like that. And some people like I'm at level what is it? I'm pretty much in the emerald level, which is the highest level you can get.
Okay, so you nothing to fuck with.
Yeah. But that just comes from me going in the races with the right mindset. Don't try to screw nobody up. Go in there, have fun, but also try to race hard.
So you got the whole steering wheel and shit,
No,
right?
I'm controller user. I don't even have a steering wheel
Oh,
for
okay,
real.
okay, that makes me feel a little bit
So
better. I thought I had to get up.
now if I had a steering wheel, then yeah, I'll probably be even better. Even though would have to, and that's the thing about a steering wheel on a racing game, you would have to take your mind like you're driving an actual car, but it's virtual, so you have to think in a whole different mindset because a steering
Right.
wheel in the game and a steering wheel in real life, unless you actually got like a legit setup,
Yeah.
it's totally different, but it can be similar. That's why the 2-time world champion of GT Sport right now, he's in the junior leagues of F1. So he actually took those skills that he had in that game and he could apply them in real life.
That's what I'm
And there was a
saying,
couple of
man.
races that he
Wow.
won, but he also had a couple of races where he lost. But again, you're not always going to win every single race that you
Uh,
run. It's just one of those things. But
that's fucking dope.
yeah, so he got the real world experience, but he got a lot of his training from that game because it is legit. That's why a lot of companies respect GT for what it is because it takes the proper care and attention to detail and everything that you're supposed to have with a racer. That's why games like Assetto Corsa,
Yeah.
iRacing, Automobilista 2, and R Factor on PC, that's why they're so huge in the sim racing world because they're even more advanced than GT because they take into account tire temperature, tire pressure, um, oil gauges, stuff like that. Because you can literally, I know on iRacing, if you shift the wrong way, you can freaking blow your transmission up.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like there is a process to downshifting, and you just can't like shift down real quick. Like you gotta wait
That's,
until the rev limiter hits a certain rev before you can shift down. But if you do it too fast, you will actually start damaging your engine. Like if you run off the road, you'll start getting rocks and stuff stuck in your springs. You can
I
start,
know all about that. I did that in my Q90
yeah.
real life. I downshifted too fast and oh man, that was like fucking almost
And like
11,000
they'll
hours.
start telling you like if you're over revving it, like the crew chief will come in here and be like, hey, your engine temperature is getting too hot. You know, maybe start shifting a little bit earlier, just keep the temperature normal on the engine so you don't overheat it.
Yeah.
Make sure you keep your tires a little bit cleaner. Don't hit the sides. Don't hit the burns and all that too often because it's gonna wear your tires down quicker and warm them up too quick. So it's a lot of stuff and that's why like I also use those games as training aids for when I play GT because even though it's more hyper focused, it's just like we said with legacy fighters. You play one sim, you can apply it to every sim.
Hmm.
It's the same
Yeah,
way with racing
exactly.
games. You play one sim, you can literally apply that same rationale to every other sim. Yeah, you might have to tweak it because some sims are a little bit more extreme than others, but you can
Right.
still apply the same basics.
That's that's what players like speaking of myself. I'm I'm start playing GT and all this type of stuff and start learning everything. I had to understand, all right, I'm not gonna be as good as the person that I'm speaking to. I'm not gonna be as good as the people that can beat me on this game right now. But if I truly work hard and push myself and understand everything in the mechanics that the game provide, and maybe that would put me on the right trajectory to at least understand why I'm losing.
hmm And that's
I
the
can
thing.
go from there.
And that's the thing. It's just like because I know with fighting games, you have the replay gallery. You can see what inputs you were using and stuff like that, right? In
Hmm.
GT, I kind of use that same mindset. I will take my replay and analyze like because it'll pull up your telemetry data, like how fast you were going, how many G, how what your car distribution weight on, like how many G's were going here and there and everything. You can literally just sit there and see how consistent you were on your lap times because it'll bring up a graph, like here you were going good, but then you started screwing up, you started slowing down, but then you started noticing, okay, this was around the time that my tires started wearing out. I'll start
Yeah.
worrying about fuel usage. So now it's like, okay, how could I strategize off of this race for the next race? So now that I know by lap 3 that I'm gonna start worrying about tires, then okay, what can I do differently on lap 1 and 2 to save
See,
those tires?
that's what I'm talking about. See, the game provides all of that that you need to know to understand exactly what you're doing. Fighting games don't do that. But besides what Netherrealm,
Mm-hmm.
games like that got like particularly huge budgets, for a fighting game. Um, to find out all this type of stuff, which is all this type of stuff that you need to know in a fighting game, you got to go outside the fighting game to find it. So you playing Street Fighter, you want to understand everything out there in Street Fighter, you got to go on the internet and find out from other people. You
Mm-hmm.
can't find out from the game itself. So yeah, you can look at a replay of your game, but you won't understand what's going on or why you're losing.
Yeah.
You wouldn't understand that, oh, my spacing was too close, or I kept whiffing, or this when I do this attack is negative on block. So they took advantage of that within the frame. Th- There's not a lot of games that explain that. And every single fighting game have that. But they do a fucked up job or explaining that shit, and that's where they go wrong. So it's not about you getting rid of the press emotion, or you getting rid of the original Hadouken emotion and trying to make it easier, making it just up, up, down, down, A, or whatever the X, whatever it could be. It's not
Mm-hmm.
about that. It's about the new player. What am I doing wrong, and what can I do to improve it? How can you help me improve? The game had to help you improve. The game had to make this game fun enough for you to understand. I want to go further than this. The game had to encourage you. The game had to show you, oh, all right, let's say I'm online, I got my ass whooped online. If the game can't take a frame of what happened, show me this what you did, and then show me in another frame, this what you should do. That's how you create. That's how you create a better community of players that understand what's exactly is going on, so you can continue playing your video game.
Yeah.
That's what I,
And
you know, I guess that's speaking to competitive games in itself, but you know, platformers and action games already had this because you have to internalize it yourself.
mm-hmm. And that's why I enjoyed like on a while back, couple like few months before I had busy Sundays. I was in this group where we ran racing series on Sundays, and during the week we would have like little practice sessions, and we would all get together and we brainstorm like, okay, if you're running this model car, maybe me and you need to go out on track and work these cars in to figure out what's going to be the best setup for this race. And we weren't exactly teammates, but we knew like, hey, if this works for you, that then you might could work off of what I've got and tweak it to what you need to be comfortable for you, right? So we could all have a good competitive race. It was still gonna be a hard fought race because we were all super competitive, but we all wanted to have fun with it. So we all kind of like pushed each other like, hey, maybe here, change your ratios from your gearing from this to this. Maybe you'll get a little bit more response out of the back end instead of sliding, right? And they go do
Right.
that, they tweak and they be like, yeah, that feels a whole lot more comfortable, change the spring ratios from this to this because the car's a little bit lighter. Do that, then it's like, okay, now it's hugging the curves and it's not so damn stiff. But when we did that, we all had fun. We all had a good time. We were all super competitive, you know. But we could all look back and say, like, yeah, we gave it our all. We all trained together. We worked together. But at the end of the day, we were still competitive enough to say, I'm going to try to get this win. I hope you can
Shit.
keep up with me.
And that and,
Even,
and that's it. That's it,
yeah.
man. Like, and people think that you can't be friendly with your competitors and still be competitive. I think you
Mm,
become more competitive when you understand and you understand the other person that you're dealing with.
mm-hmm.
You just know, okay, I know how he moves. He know how I move. Then you got to work through that. That's another thing you got to think about. So this is
And that's the thing. It was like you started learning tendencies of certain people. Like, you would
Yeah.
have the ultra fast guys that you knew were always going to be in the front, right? Because they were just that damn good. Regardless of what you threw them in, they were just that damn good. So you knew you were going to have race in your hands if you got in that sector. Then you had the guys in the back that weren't so good, but they still had their own internal competition between their little group, even though they weren't as proficient as the guys in the middle or the guys in the front. They would still be just as competitive as everybody else in the field. And when it
Shit's
came,
cool as fuck.
yeah,
I like that a lot.
and when it came time for like, if they knew they were in behind and the faster people were coming up, they would legit get out of the way of the faster people to make sure that they weren't screwed up, right? Because we had this rule like, hey, if you know you're not gonna be that fast, just pop over to the left or to the right, or the person coming behind you will say, hey, I'm coming on your left, and that way that gave everybody a heads up of what your intentions were. But we were still racing full throttle the whole damn time.
And
And I
it's
think I
fucking
got a
that's
couple of
great.
those videos up on YouTube, if I'm
Oh,
not mistaken. But again, it was just fun. It was like you were in that moment. And again, I'm still thinking about all this fuel usage, tire use, because all that stuff was in play. And the whole time, we're just chatting it up, having the whole time. But I'm thinking 5 damn laps.
shit. That's all. So in the endurance races, um,
Mm.
how long do you last? You last a whole.
Um, and that's the thing, because we kind of set ours up to be not really an endurance race, but we had like two 30-minute races.
Yeah.
So altogether, the whole race that day would probably be a little bit over an hour and a half because we had practice, then qualifying, and then from qualifying we went straight into the race. Race one and then race two was reverse grid, so everybody that like if you finished first, you started in last, but that was usually like the faster people in the back, so they would usually pass everybody anyway
Yeah.
eventually. So it literally became like just hey, let's throw a monkey wrench into it, see if the faster guys can catch up. And then sometimes the faster guys would make mistakes, sometimes they wouldn't. It all, even though, because we all set up to where we went by actual racing regulations based on the actual racing league. So, these set of cars, they could only be X amount of horsepower. You could only use X type of tires. You could have your tune set up as far as like your gearing ratios, your spring rates, all that you could set yourself, but it still had to fall within this weight, this horsepower, and this classification of car, right? And
Right.
like say this year, like the '80s models, they had to fall in the '80s models under a certain weight or under a certain weight or over a certain weight because some cars were lighter than others, so you had to increase the weight on them just to even it out. And you couldn't do nothing real funky. You just had to keep within regulations. And that's when you found out, like, and you had to stick with that car through the whole 12 race season. That's when you found out, like, if you made a good choice or not, because it was one car. I think it was the car that they had on, what is that? What is that damn? I can't think of the anime now, but it was the one about drifting. I don't know why I can't think of it right now. Initial
Oh,
D.
initial D.
Yeah, it was the Sprint. It was the Toyota. That car, if you tune that car up, that car is amazing. That thing
Oh, you talk
hugs
about which Toyota was that? That was the
the Sprinter, the black and white one. No, I mean the
Oh
white and
man,
black one.
I know
That
who you're talking
car,
about. That's
that
fucking.
car,
You know how much
that
that car is now?
yeah, that car is expensive now. But
Fuck.
when I tell you that car drives so damn smooth when you get it set up correctly, that thing you could go in a turn as fast as you wanted to. And that sucker would just hug that turn, and it was
Yeah.
so good that you knew you could just confidently take a turn that fast and not have to worry about nothing. The greatest feeling in the world. But that all came from the some of the guys that we had in this group are actual guys that do racing in real life, so they
Hmm.
know about how to timings on or how to do differentials, how to do spacing between gearings, how to do spring rates. They know all this stuff because they actually do this stuff. So I would hit them up. I was like, okay, such and such is happening to my back end. What do I need to do? And he would tell me, like, hey, tighten this up, loosen this up, tighten this front up a little bit, and do this. Solve it right there. And this is while we were doing practicing. Like before the race, it would just be like we call him crew chief because he would literally, feed us the information that we needed, and we'd do all the adjustments.
Fucking see.
But it's a lot of communities like that in GT though, so that's why I said half of like a lot of people don't know about that. Like the GT community is so diverse, where you got these leagues, but we're all in it to have fun, but be competitive at the same time, and so yeah, it's a
You're
great
right.
feeling.
'Cause when I was watching the GT, the couple of the PlayStation GT races and shit, it's quite diverse.
Yeah,
Quite diverse. I thought as diverse as even people from different countries, Italy and all that type of stuff, like real racing. Like this is that shit is fucking that shit is fucking dope, man. That's how it's supposed to be, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, and that's the thing. Like those guys that I seen racing on that series, I would go watch some of their replays and get some of their data just to see what they were doing that I was not doing. And I was like, it's amazing because I'm like, I can't replicate that. Like the exact, because I would try to, you can get their ghost and try to follow their ghost and kind of see what kind of rhythm they were in when they were on this track.
yeah, that's cool.
But when you get behind them, it's like you try to keep up with them, but you can't. It's like, what in the hell are they doing that I'm not? And I got real close one time to figuring out one of them. It was just like, and it's down
What?
to like the inch on the track of when you have to do shit, and you
Damn.
have to gauge this based on them being in front of you. Like, okay, at this exact point, this is where they did this, and you got to replicate that just to keep with the same amount of momentum they're going through in the turn, and
So,
hopefully you can hold on to it because they're probably running without traction control, and you might be trying to just ease your way into it with
yeah.
like a traction control level 1, but you need to get to a traction control 0 to where you're literally mimicking them.
Dog. So
So
what did you figure out when you were following one of the cats? Like what were a couple of things that you was figuring out? It sounded amazing. You sitting there racing against a guy, you sitting there like he's in front of you, you like, yo, what the fuck is he doing?
I finally
What?
figured, but that's when I started figuring out that a lot of people they start coasting a lot. Like I started figuring out he started coasting a lot earlier, or he was had his foot on the accelerator midway instead of all the way, like just enough to keep the speed going up, but not enough to where the speed was ramped up so damn high that he couldn't compensate for it and bring it down when he needed to. So
Oh
that's why I was
shit.
like, he's going through this turn at like 125. And I'm trying to figure like how's he going through this turn at 125, but he's set up to go through that turn at 125 way before he got to that turn because he kind of kept it in a nice little forward momentum, but not an aggressive forward momentum. It was enough
So
momentum to let him catch that turn and then just kind of ease into it to go that 125 and just keep
a
that
steady
constant 120. Yeah, the steady
like a
125.
steady 2125 instead of like a racing or like a speed past 125.
Yeah,
Like accelerating 125.
yeah.
Just a steady one. That's crazy.
So
At
once
that
I,
point, you allowing the weight of the car drive him, right?
yeah, he's allowing the weight of the car to drive. But once I figured that out, I think I got within, what was it, 0.574 seconds of him. But when I put in that time, this time was for an event race for that day. So that time put me like in the top 3 consistently for every race for the rest of that week. So every time I went into a race, I didn't have to qualify again because I could just go off that one time, and it always put me in the top 3.
Shit.
But that's the thing. That's how close qualifying is. Whenever you do qualifying, it's literally like the 0.17s, the 0.107s, the 0.9099s. Like, you will have so many people clustered up within like a 0.005 seconds of each other that when you get grouped up, when you see the timings, it's like, bruh, everybody is literally like not even a millimeter off each other's bumper according to how the times go. Cause they're just
Dang.
that damn close.
Hey, that's
Or like
fucking.
if you lined them all up, you couldn't
Yeah.
even tell who was in first or who was in second because everybody's just like that fraction of a hair off the next person. But that's how hard people now. Like when you first start off, if you're in like the beginner area, you'll be grouped with beginners. So it's just like rank. When you start off, you'll be grouped with the non-ranks. Then you'll start going up ranks, going up ranks, going up ranks. But you can go down ranks. The way you go down ranks in the game is if you start screwing up, you just start causing wrecks. They'll throw you back down to the beginners. And then there
Yeah.
it's a little bit hand holding because they'll make sure like if an incident happen, you'll ghost through a person and you won't really wreck, right?
Yeah.
But once you go up, they start taking that stuff away. Then it becomes okay. Now when you hit somebody, you're actually gonna hit them. You're not just gonna pass through anymore. So now you got to start being more observant of people around you. You got to drive for you and everybody else around you, and they got to do the same. So, like I said, that GT Sport was the most casual that I've seen GT because it did let people race, but it also started separating people because it was like, look, you can stay down here and you can have a good time, but for the rest of everybody else, they going on, and they gonna go on quick. So you didn't have that whole little separation of mixing in the bad drivers with the good drivers. It was literally like the bad drivers with the bad drivers, the good drivers with the good drivers.
Yeah, like how it should be.
Yeah.
Like, is there the way? I think this should happen too. Like especially in fighting games. Like, is there a way that like in that game, when you go online, like do they stop you from going to races where a lesser driver is because they already know that you're great or good at this? Like, no, you ain't gonna go down there and fuck those people up,
And
or nah.
here's the thing, they got a lobby system set up. So like let's say if you do a custom lobby, you can
Mhm.
actually restrict people based on their rating from coming in. So you won't have a D class driver going into an S class room. Because I noticed this, like, and that's where I talked about with all the actual people that were in the tournament series.
Yeah.
You could see them sometime in the custom lobby racing against each other, and they would have that room restricted to A and above.
It's nice. So yeah,
So you
you
could,
want to get up here with them.
yeah. So if you wanted to get in that room, you had to be an A rank or above. And like your safety rating, you can keep that at a S forever. It's your driver rating that's gonna be the one that's gonna be, you gotta win consistently, drive fast, be fast. That's the one where like you could get locked out of rooms if you wanted to go against some of the top tier players. But they also will lock you on the actual server side to whenever you race, you're gonna be ranked against similar skilled players. So if you're an S and an A, you're gonna be going up against either S and A's, S and B's, or S and S. You're never gonna
Right.
be going
Okay.
like a A and a D, or some crazy ratio, right? It's always gonna be within like one or two, like one rank above, one rank below.
Okay.
Because some people can actually, they can be a SA, but they're right on that tip of being a SS. But they just can't get over that hump of being, because that little hump from A to S is so goddamn tight. That means you would literally have to just win nothing, just like straight races all the time. So
Okay. That's like a great lobby system.
it honestly is. Now, I'm not saying you won't have no assholes and people that exploit the
Or
penalty system, because there was a time where GT had a fair and balanced penalty system, to where like if you cause a wreck, of course you get penalized for it. But then they had like the super strict revision where it was like you would just slightly nudge somebody, and they was giving you like a 5 second penalty. It was like, bro, it's just like y'all are racing competitively. Like little taps gonna happen. That's
yeah.
part of it. You're racing like literally inches apart sometimes. A little tap is gonna happen. They was punishing everybody for that. And then
Excessive taps, like somebody just keep tapping you and then
yeah,
yeah, I understand that.
like one or two taps here and there, yeah, you can expect that. But just like the constant. So, but then they got to the point to where you could literally just throw somebody completely off the road and get nothing. Like they
Oh
would
shit,
actually
okay.
penalize the person that got thrown off the road. Like, what the hell is this? But
Yeah, they
then
gotta get
some,
in.
but then some people, because the penalty system now is kind of jacked, where a person can hit you from behind, you not go off the road, but they go off the road even though they hit you, and you get the penalty because they decided, oh, I'm gonna hit him and slightly go off the road a little bit to make the system think he threw me off the road, and
It's
then
nuts.
throw. Yeah, so people, it's some people that do that shady shit, and I send them a little message whenever they. I'm like, bro, you know you're wrong for that shit. You knew what the fuck you was doing. Like,
Yeah,
come
man.
on, bro.
Don't try to ruin everybody else's fun just because you're overly just I don't know dumb.
Yeah,
Just trying to fuck everybody else's up. You know, that's just yeah. I feel you on that one. Shit.
and when the whole lobby knows they're blatantly doing, the whole lobby calls them out on the shit. Cause it ain't
Yeah.
just like he do it to you, he'll do it to everybody. So everybody will be on his ass, and usually they'll be the first one to duck out the lobby as soon as the race over there. Like, oh, time to go. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, okay.
Like,
Okay. Now you're a coward. You doing all
yeah,
that crazy shit now. Now you're a fucking coward. Okay.
yeah. So that's usually how like the actual uh studio servers, whenever you go to their like daily events and manufacturers nations cup events, that's how those usually go sometimes. I
Okay.
There's a little bit more stakes whenever they have like the nations and the manufacturers cup, because people are actually competing to go to like those televised events. Like once you start a season, you got like the preseason, then you actually have a season where that shit actually starts counting, and people don't want to fuck that up. If
Yeah.
they want to fuck up some shit, they'll go to like the daily race. But if they actually want to have a legit chance of going to these like nationals, they go there and they be on their damn P's and Q's then.
Okay.
Not saying
Yeah. They
mistakes
have
won't
to be.
happen. Look,
You
not
you
saying
cause they might bang your ass from participating in any other invitationals or anything from there.
yeah. So like, mistakes will happen, but as long as it ain't just like blatant and constant and all that, then yeah. You so but man, plus on Black, I'm glad you came by, brother. I'm about to get
Um,
off. I'm about to
I
get off
understand,
here
man.
because I'm gonna go eat.
I just want to say congratulations. I'm ecstatic that you decided to do your own thing and create your own community and all that type of stuff. And I'm here to support you, dog. And hope you just keep this up and just continue doing what you think. I think your voice, your intellect, it deserve. I think you need to share it a lot more than just
Oh,
on on Six and everybody else's podcast. I mean, podcast. Now you got your own and your own voice, and you can share that with a lot more people. I think it need to happen. I'm glad you're doing it.
Oh yeah, it just felt right to just like they'll do their rendition of how they feel about certain events, and I might feel differently, and I might elaborate more on certain points. But
Yeah.
I'm glad for that support, brother. I appreciate it. I really do. Just like everybody that ever come by, whether it's 2 viewers or 15, I thank every single one of y'all. I really do. So
Listen, just keep up the good work.
hey, I appreciate it, brother. But hey, everybody, I'm gonna call it a night. This been a good stream. I know we kind of got into the topic with FGC and GT Sport and that, but that's gamer talk. That's one of the beautiful things about the community. When you get people that can talk about games for hours, that's literally what it's about. Again, you can play on whatever difficulty you want to. I honestly don't care. At the end of the day, I just think there needs to be a broader perspective about the conversation other than either, oh, this person is gatekeeping or y'all just being scrubby. It's a nuanced conversation that needs to be had, and I don't think a lot of people really want to have that. And there's that disconnect between the older generation and the newer generation of gamers. So again, I appreciate everybody coming back. Plus, you got anything else you want to say before we get out of here, brother?
I'm good.
You good?
I had nothing else to say. I'm good. I'm tired. Um, I'm glad I called you. Usually I'm busy as fuck, and usually be able to talk with you. Sick and I'm thrashing all. I'll be missing all your shit or whatever. I've noticed that it's happening. Now I know that you're doing your thing, but I noticed their shit is happening. I'm trying to come in and and do what I can, but I've just been so busy. But I'll do better keeping up
Hey,
with you and keeping up
hey,
with the information that you may give. And guess I'm out here, you out here, man. I'm just glad you're out here.
hey, I'm glad to be out here, brother. I really am.
Outside now, man. I'm loving it.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, guys, it's been real. This Stealth Guy Gaming, and I'm out of here.